And once again, a huge thank you to all of our financial supporters. Firstly, our supporters over at patreon.com/878 Survivor FM, all of our production managers. We cannot thank you all enough for your continued ongoing support. All of your names are there on the screen right now. A big shout out to our producer, Red Freedom. Mate, 18 months. You're an absolute mad lad. Cannot thank you enough. Also, we have to give a big shout out to all of our growing YouTube members, all of our new tier, the Emote Bandits, our existing tier, the 87.8 Survivors, and a special shout out to our podcast bosses, whose names are again all on the screen right there. I cannot thank you all enough. Please keep up the support. It helps our show go on each and every week, and we get to do great giveaways. And our end of year Christmas episode is going to be an absolute cracker this year, folks. All the best, and we hope you enjoy this week's show. And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are in another interview in the Spotlight series here on 87.8 Survivor FM. And this time we have the one, the only Mr. DudeIRage. Buddy, how you doing?
Doing A-okay, man. Thanks for having me.
That's awesome. That's awesome, buddy. Always good when I see that the audio has come through nice and clear to the stream as well. Foxy Pete, are you sure it's the camera? And yes, Tree Hugget, that was the one, the only Barely Infected song. I had permission from him to use it. It's just what. Do you remember when that song was made, DudeIRage? Were you around in the community back then?
I've been around for 10 years. Yeah, I was around. I was definitely around.
It's a fucking.
It's been a long time though.
An iconic song, that summer song, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was such a good video with the Running Mans, with him and Renee sitting by the campfire, and they were just talking, and Renee busts out his guitar and starts playing it. And I was just watching it, going, "Oh my god, that is, that's one of the beautiful things of DayZ, mate. You can have those sorts of. It's not just run around and kill everyone. It's sometimes it's those things like that that just make it such an interesting game, isn't it?"
I met it absolutely is. I met a guy in where was it? Not Severograd. Just before Berezino. I can't remember the town because it's been so long. But I met a guy and I was fully geared and he was really upset. He was about to get off the game, and I conditioned him to just not get off and gave him a bunch of gear. And he ended up playing a guitar and singing for me in mic in game, and he had the most wonderful voice, and I ended up making a video of it. It was incredible.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. You'll have to give us a link to the video, mate, afterwards, so we can share it with folks so they can hear it. But yeah, it's just there's nothing quite like DayZ. It's it's an amazing game. But we'll get around to talking a bit more about DayZ, mate, a bit later.
Right.
We're going to find out a bit more about you.
Okay.
So for those who are regulars in your community, they probably know a little bit about you, but you just tell us a bit about yourself, mate, whatever you are comfortable with revealing.
Well, I don't even, where do I start? I don't know. I've been playing DayZ since 2013. Mm-hmm. So since it started almost, not really the mod. I played the mod a little after. I've gone through a lot of growing pains as a person. I got a degree, got my heart broken. I got the Twitch affiliate, the partnership, whatever. And then I became a police officer 2 years ago. I left streaming, full-time streaming, to become a peace officer. And here I am today. And
how's that working for you, mate? The being a police officer. I just shared a video yesterday of, I don't know whether you saw my tweet on my Boyd73 account. Man, you guys in America, holy crap. This video I shared, mate, it just goes from 0 to 100 in a split second.
So that shooting took place, I believe, it was Jacksonville, Florida. I saw it when it not when it happened because I wasn't there, but like the day after it happened, and I'm pretty sure the guy had a minor misdemeanor offense and didn't want to go to jail, and it was something silly. and they weren't even going to. They were going to pull him out of the car eventually, but I think he had a warrant for something really silly, and he just
Hmm.
didn't want to go to jail.
It's insane, man. It's just. Uh, I remember a few years back when I was still living in Townsville, where a lot of the family is for the missus' side, and I've got a brother-in-law who's a soldier and a brother-in-law who's a cop. And we were sitting around the barbecue, and the soldier brother-in-law, he's a bit of a wanker, to put it bluntly. He likes to big note himself and all the rest of it, and a few beers in, and he was talking about that, and the cop brother-in-law says, "Man, I can't believe the stuff you soldiers go through." And I said, "Mate, I've been out now, I think this is probably around about 10, 12 years when this happened." And I said, "For me, it's the other way around. When I went out on patrol, I generally had a minimum of 8 other men with me. We were, loaded for bear. Everything from rifles, pistols, machine guns, rocket launchers, grenades, smoke grenades, body armor, everything. And we were going out generally with a mission in mind, and we were on edge, ready for shit to go down. As a cop, man, you could just be driving along. You might have just had a phone call from the missus. You pull someone over for a broken taillight, and the next thing, even here in Australia, where guns aren't as prevalent, but yeah, well, my mate Vigilante Gamer just released a video with knife attacks, and even just someone pulling a knife on you. If you don't have your firearm out, I have so much more respect for even ambos and fireys as well, but for police officers, because that just 0 to 100, from experience, even when I was, just on patrol and something would go down, your heart rate still goes up. But to go from completely not expecting anything to fighting for your life, and then it's all over in seconds, man, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. And it says so much about the mental fortitude of people who do that career for life.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely law enforcement is something that's always changing. And for those people that study this or are police officers now that might be listening to this, they know exactly what I mean. If you're not constantly in this profession evolving and training and studying what's happening, you don't backseat quarter or Monday morning quarterback is what we call it. Other
Yeah,
officers who've made mistakes in the field, you just can't do that, but you can learn from them. Um, so it's something that I always have to watch. I'm always studying the laws and keeping up with what's going on when bills are passing. When there's shootings and stuff like that. I study those things to the T. I watch them for hours on end because it ultimately could save my life. It is nerve wracking. It is. Every
yeah.
person that I interact with, even if they greet me with a smile and they might say something positive. It only takes that. I've seen it happen
Hmm.
already. It just all it takes is 1 second, and they're just immediately flip flop. They hate you. They don't want to be anywhere near you, or they want you dead. Um, Luckily, I've been fortunate enough that I've seen the next day so far. I would like to be able to say that until retirement. I don't know what God's plan is, obviously, but all I can do to prepare for that is train all the time.
And that's it, mate. The training is one of the key things. Like, when I watched that video, I was chatting with another friend of mine who's a police officer here in Australia. And he was like, it's such a fascinating video just from when you forget the fact that, it's kind of cold and kind of brutal, but you've got to be able to look at things like that and analyze it. I don't know if anyone died from it. I hope they didn't. Even the guy who pulled the gun, I hope he didn't die, because like you and I were chatting about earlier, people have weird reasons and motivations for doing what they do. At the end of the day, that's someone's son, possibly father, brother, sister, lover, whatever, and he did a stupid thing, and yeah, but yeah, you've got to be able to look at something like that, and it comes down to training. The more training you give a person, even when it comes to things like video games, the more you train, the better you get. And when something like that happens, your instincts kick in. And a little bit off topic here, but that whole defund the police movement that was happening a few years back, not just in America but around the world, it's a bad idea, because defunding just means less training. Less training means You see those horrible incidences where old mate pulled the pistol instead of the taser and yelled taser, 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 and then shot the guy. And it's like that comes down to the fact that she wasn't, and it's not because she's a she. It's just the fact that if that had been, I've been told that happens quite commonly. With any soldier, whether they're male, with any officer, not commonly, but it happens more than people.
So that particular case, so what we call that in the field is a training scar. So she was not familiar. That officer was not familiar with the weight of her pistol with a magazine in it versus the weight of a taser, which is significantly lighter, and there was no weapon displacement, which for civilians or people that don't know what that means, basically what it means is you keep your taser in a different location and you practice drawing from that different location. So from this is going to be my killing device and this is going to be my life, saving device. If I can get this person on the ground without lethal force, that's what I want to do every time. So you don't keep your taser on the right side right next to your pistol because you might draw the wrong one in the moment. And then if you draw the pistol and someone's charging you, you have to use it. And then they're going to chalk it up to that officer made a mistake, and should that officer be held liable? So that's what we call a training scar. That the rest of that woman's life is ruined. I'm pretty sure she was convicted for that.
And that comes down to the training, like you said. The weapon displacement. I didn't know the terminology for it, but I knew what it means. It's the same for as a soldier. You even do it in DayZ. Everyone hot bars has their own set way they like to have their hot bars, so that when something happens, you instinctively know. Number one is, for me, number one is usually always my melee weapon. Number two is my close range. Number three is my distance. Number four, I kind of leave for, just something a bit different. And the last number is always my bandages. And I always have my bandages there. I don't put my rags there, but that's stuff that I've got so ingrained into my head, it constantly is there. And that's, what you're talking about. If you don't have a set sequence for your hotbar, you're going to be constantly pulling out the wrong thing and all the rest of it. And that applies to, things in life as well. Just absolute insanity, mate. And whereabouts are you working? If you're comfortable saying that. Rough region, America.
I'm in northeast of America, or northeast of North America, state called Ohio.
Yep.
And where I'm at is pretty busy. There's never a dull moment where I'm at. So yeah, it's interesting.
And what's your primary? How long have you been doing it now for?
I've been doing it for almost a year now, actually. So training was 6 months long, and finding a job is usually 6 months to a year. Fortunately, I was able to find a job as soon as I graduated academy.
So hang about, how does that work? Like here in Australia, with the police academy, you're instantly employed. Basically, once you get to the academy, you're employed as a police officer with Queensland Police. It's different where you are, is it?
Yeah, it is. It just depends on the academy you go to. So certain academies have better establishments and better opportunities than others, and some departments will host their own police academies
so
that they can hire you.
Or is it a private thing?
It's a private thing.
Wow.
It's usually a private thing or run by the state government. It depends. It just depends. So certain departments, obviously, everything's funded by the taxpayers. But certain departments will host their own academies. They'll get their state certificate to host their own academy, and officers or cadets that go through their training will be offered a job once they pass their academy. But they have a lower graduation rate because they only have so many spots on those departments, unless it's a larger department.
I have to ask, did you watch all the Police Academy movies in preparation for it?
I mean, I watched some things, but even before I decided to jump into this, no, I do know them.
Oh, okay.
I do know them.
I was expecting you to laugh.
But they're like way older. They're like way out of my out of my realm. So
Hightower, I love those movies. Tackleberry was one of my favorites. That guy was an absolute fucking nut job. Brilliant movies. Totally politically incorrect for these days, but yeah.
From the same generation, the same era, that movie that would have done it for me would have been Airplane 1 and 2.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love those. They're so funny.
Yeah.
I was sad when he passed away. I was really sad when he passed away.
So what do you do for shits and giggles outside of work and streaming?
Outside of work and streaming, man, that's my life. I came back to so when I left, so like I could have continued streaming, but like I was going through a really tough heartbreak. And that was my fault. Like it wasn't my fault, but I allowed myself to fall into that, seeing that at the end of the tunnel, I knew it was coming, and I still fell into that. But that's just the way it is, right? We're guys, we fall in love with women, and we can't turn off, right? So anyway, so that happened, and I had an option to continue streaming, and I had my numbers had died down significantly because I wasn't streaming. I was spending all of my time with her, and that was shortly thereafter I had gotten partnership. Um, so I had a decision I had to make, and there was everything that was going on in the mainstream media with law enforcement. And law enforcement, I mean, we're not perfect, and that has been evident in videos. We have seen the negative impact that it has made on Americans, civilians, and police officers, all of us alike. It was a really big turning point in my life because I had to make a decision. Do I sit here and be upset with what's going on in my personal life, or do I go into a profession that I have the will and the knowledge to be a good police officer? I know I can be a good police officer, and I made that tough decision to be a police officer. So, um, but anyways, that's far off track. When I came back, streaming, I missed it a lot. I've missed it for so long, and I've been putting a ton of effort back into it. Redoing things, going back into the YouTube stuff. So if I'm not working, I'm spending my free time on this. This really does truly fill my heart with joy.
Is it a challenge for you because being a police officer, you do shift work? Is it a challenge for you maintaining a schedule?
It was previously. So my department works, we have 5 platoons, and our platoons work in different shifts at different areas throughout the city. So my platoon, I just got upgraded to another platoon, and we work a set amount of days. So I work 5 days straight, then I get 2 days off, then I work 3 days straight, and I get 4 days off every week. That's the way it is every month, and that's really nice for me because I know what times I'm going to have off. I know when I can set things aside. I can plan things with other streamers. It's not as hard as you might think. It's definitely, as far as consistency and growth goes, it's really hard for me to maintain, to be here daily, to be able to be out there and people to know that hey, he's back. But once I have those days off in a row, I mean, I can go balls to the wall and put everything into it, and that's what I do right now.
Do you have you found that your training has helped you at all in game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. I just tweeted it today. I mean, shooting in video games does not translate to real life.
No.
It doesn't.
God,
It
no.
has nothing to do with it. I mean, you can sim it, and obviously it'll be somewhat realistic or close to in video games versus real life because they do all that stuff. But it doesn't translate. However, I was very overweight 2 or 3 years ago. I was 300 pounds when I was full time streaming. I was eating takeout 2 or 3 times a day. I lost all that weight, and my reflexes and my sense of direction and everything has skyrocketed since that point. Yeah, it absolutely does. It absolutely does.
What else though? Like tactics wise, has that been something for you?
I mean, I've always felt like I was more of a smart when it comes to DayZ sense. Like I've always tried to play smarter. I'm not a person that can go into a fight in a game like Taupe does and just kill everybody in every different direction. I'll slow play. I'll take my time. I'll wait. You know, let them go to that well. That's okay. You don't call me a camper because I'm stalking them the whole time. I'll wait, and then I'll take that shot, and then I'll wait some more. Depending if I don't know if there's one more than 1 or 2 people, then I won't go for the gear. But if I know it's one guy and he's by himself for 20 minutes, then sorry, man. I just played a little bit smarter.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things I love about DayZ. It does reward. It was good. I don't know if you got to watch it. You were in chat for a bit of it, the PvP debate we were having. And it's one of the things I've always loved about DayZ is Yes, yeah. Even like Mike just said, that even in DayZ, unless you're me, you're not going to miss most of those shots at 25 meters. But DayZ is still a bit more challenging than most games, which auto aim and all that other sort of stuff. That's one of the things I like about DayZ. You can whiff, you can, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I freaking love it.
Everybody whiffs, man. Don't feel bad about, wow. Feel bad about that clip. I've seen it. It's god awful. But after that, I mean, everybody misses a little bit. So
I honestly don't think I've gotten much better since then, mate. I've gotten a little bit better, but like I died to wolves yesterday, and I had a foul, and I was still whiffing shots. I as much as I try to avoid doing it, I think I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and go play on those PvP deathmatch servers to get just slightly better. Because like there's Toprek, Minder, Smoke, and guys like that up here. Then there's the average, and then I'm somewhere way down there at the moment, even with my DPI adjustment, mate. It's embarrassing.
Listen, man, there's more people in that area than you think, so don't beat yourself up too much, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, you said you've been around since the beginning. When did you start playing DayZ, mate?
When did I start playing?
Yeah.
I believe it would have been January. It was either December, between December 16th and December 25th, or it would have been like the first week of January after the game was released.
So about the same time as me. I think I was February.
Yeah, so I was an Xbox gamer for a long time, and I didn't play games until I got into high school. I had an N64 in middle school, but I didn't really touch it all that much. But a good friend of mine who I reconnected with recently and I play with now invited me over to his house and was like, "Hey man, we should check out this new Call of Duty 4 that came out, Modern Warfare." I was like, "I don't know what that is. I don't play games." And he was like dumbfounded. So we went and we played his Xbox 360, which I had never heard of. Because, like, believe it or not, I had never heard of it. I didn't play.
Really?
I didn't play games. No, I didn't. I didn't know what it was. And he sat me down, put that controller in my hand, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I became obsessed with Call of Duty. I got really good at that. And then I saw the trailer years back, or years forward from when I was introduced to Xbox, for DayZ, and I said, "Holy shit! I have to play that game." And then I went out to Best Buy. I spent $800 on a POS, no graphics card, gateway pre-built computer, where it was integral. The graphics were integral, built into the motherboard, and that's how I started playing DayZ. But of course, DayZ graphics were pretty shit back then, so it didn't matter. I could play it on the low settings. So that's when I started playing.
It's come so far from those early days, hasn't it, mate?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I remember when I started, Balota Airfield was the destination when you'd spawn in Cherno, because it
But
spawned the
you see,
M4s and the
you
SKSs
say that
right
as
there.
well. You and I have got a lot in common. You speak to nearly every other motherfucker out there, mate, and they're all going to say Northeast Airfield, Northeast Airfield, Northeast Airfield. Man, I was a Balota guy. Balota tents. Bring back Balota tents, man. I say spawn everyone on the east of the map, and whether you go northwest or southwest, you get to get to the good tier loot. They've got to get rid of the spawns near Electro and Cherno, and you all spawn on that east side of the map, and you can work your way. Obviously still leave Tizzy as, Tizzy's kind of a special place, but you had the Northwest Airfield, and if you didn't want to go to Northwest Airfield, you could go to Balota. I loved it.
Yeah, I would go to Northeast Airfield, but for a long time, believe it or not, because things were a little bit more chaotic and prehistoric, in the sense of, like, everyone was Neanderthal-esque and no one really talked.
Yeah.
Right. But I didn't watch YouTube or Twitch. I didn't care about that. I just wanted to play the game.
Yep.
Right. Because I didn't start streaming until a year and a half after I owned DayZ. I didn't start right away. But I was just playing it, and, like, I never talked to anybody in game. And then one day, like a year after the game was released, the guy was like, "Yo, you should go check out Northeast Airfield. Let's go there." Somebody I played with for 4 years after I met him, and I was like, what's going on? What is that? I've never even I was like, I was
Wow.
so sheltered. I'm like, I was like a Cherno player, 1000% hardcore. I was triple yellow, like in
Yeah.
the church,
Blue
like
square.
that's what I did. I would go to Balota, come back, and I'd PvP. That's all I did, and I
Yep.
freaking loved it.
Yep.
And Electro too, sometimes Electro. I really like the old layouts, Boyd. I
Same.
do. I like the old
Same.
layouts of Northwest Airfield, Cherno, and Electro. Oh God, if we could go back, if we could get OSD, old school DayZ server full all the time, that would be the only server that I played.
Mm-hmm.
Not even kidding.
I would love to see, and I honestly think they could do it as a DLC. The original DayZ map with the old Northeast Airfield, none of the new additions, blue square, triple yellow, all of that sort of stuff. Electro the way it was, people up on top of the hospital camping and shooting down into the town square there with the PD right opposite the what we used to call the school building back then. Make the loot tables like it was. There was all those little quirky things. If you wanted to get a sniper, you went to Scalisti. If you wanted to get a pistol, you went to Balota. There was just pistols everywhere in Balota for some weird reason. But that would be next level for me. Next level, and you'd find a lot of people happy.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know what? Unfortunately, it is what it is. Like as time goes on, we're seeing less and less of those people that played in that time. There's very few of us left, and people are more inclined to play the newer version, which it's fine. But man, it would be nice to go back for just a week or a couple weeks maybe, and just consistently get those gameplay sessions, with full servers. Man, that'd be great.
See, the Mishkino tents were an addition from memory. They weren't around in the original Chernerus map. Then they added the Mishkino tents, and oh my god, that went off. Oh,
yeah, Mishkino was.
You were
and
a
it's
nutter
still,
if you went in there.
Mishkino is still widely. I see people make comments on it all the time, and I get people in my chat while I'm playing like, you should go to Mishkino tents. I love Mishkino tents, and I'm like, it's not like it used to be, but I'll go. And even newer players know what it's like. They've seen the footage and wish it was still that way.
It should
of course,
be.
It's not.
It was a unique place of the map that if you wanted, other than the sniper battles around Electro and Cherno, if you wanted a good sniper battle, Mishkino was the place to go, because yes, you could get that poor, silly, fucking Boydie-like noob who just can't say no to loot, who would run in there to try and get something, and then have about 4 or 5 different people who were all wearing ghillie suits in the tree lines around it. But more often than not, it was a counter sniper battle. You'd go there and then you'd start scanning the trees around, because you knew the likelihood of someone actually being in the tents was next to nothing. But the likelihood of there being someone like you up in the trees, and it was that place scared the shit out of me, mate. That was one of the scariest places on the map. And I love the rework of the Western Corridor, but I think that was one of the most grievous mistakes they made. Was it's kind of just fallen into obscurity, Mishkino tents. There's not much there. You're more likely to get attacked by wolves than actually find another player at Mishkino tents. Mishkino tents needs that Death Valley. Oh,
I think when they did a revisit of the map, I think they considered it in the same light of Northeast Airfield. Like it makes sense to get rid of Balota and Northeast Airfield to the degree that they are now, because you spawn out there and no one's going to move around the map, and that's what they want ultimately, right? But I think they paired Mishkino mistakenly in that group for some reason. Maybe because it is pretty close, but Pavlo was closer. I don't know. I don't know why they would do away with it. But luckily, there is a server that does make that area much more desirable to go to.
And what server would that be?
Karma Crew. Karma Crew. Yeah, listen, okay? I know that I was Karma Crew at some point, okay? But I promise you, Mishkino is way more entertaining on Karma Crew than it is most servers, because they've added things to it.
Mate, you brought them up, and I want to talk about it. It is so sad that Karma Crew has pretty much it's non-existent anymore, other than the servers. Karma Crew was the shit, man. It was the shit back in the day. You know, if you were someone in the DayZ community, you were part of the Karma crew. It had all the big names: Smoke, Running Man, Toprek, Minder. It was just that was the team. It was so sad.
Yeah. I mean, I without I won't be able to talk about it publicly, but I mean I know the reason why it disbanded, and I promise you, and Miner gets a bad rep, and
He
we both know
does.
that
He
he
does.
gets a real bad rep. But I know him intimately, like not like that one, but I know I'm closer to Miner than 99% of this community because we're so tight and we talk in DMs all the time.
Yep.
And his reasoning absolutely made sense.
Yeah.
And if everybody knew why, they would be like, oh, okay. 100%. It makes complete sense. But yeah, it was really sad. It was really sad. And I was very proud to be a part of the Karma crew because
It's a
the
badge of
legend
honor to
that
get
were before
invited to
me.
it. It was a badge of honor to get invited to it.
Absolutely. It is on my Twitch page as an achievement, and it will stay there because Karma Crew in itself was legendary, not just in DayZ, but in a lot of survival game sections. People that play Escape from Tarkov knew who the Karma Crew was. Willer Z and Clean, for example, knew who the Karma Crew was, you know? And Willer Z would even play with Minder when he did play DayZ once in a while. But yeah, man, I was really sad to see it go, and I had a good conversation with Minder and in confidence and in private, and
Yeah, 100%, mate. You don't break trust.
he knows how happy I was to be
And
a
he
part
should
of
be
that.
proud of what he achieved with that team. You know, it made a lot of people.
He knows what he's done. Miner has done way more for this DayZ community than people will give him credit for, and that's fine at the end of the day because there are a few of us that
I'll
appreciate
reword
it.
that than people like to give him credit for.
Sure, yeah. He doesn't get enough credit. I mean, he's just legendary. He's just legendary. You know, say what you want about him. He's made mistakes like the rest of us.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
We're all human.
But he's a good bloke. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, most of us are human. I'm still
most of us.
debating
Tope's
what I
not.
am.
Tope's. I'm still convinced that Tope's a robot.
Yeah.
He's not human. There's no way anybody plays like that and just is always on point. I'm
Have you
sorry.
seen Vigilante Gamer's video where he breaks down Tope?
No, I have not. But I mean to. I see you post him all the time. You're like so obsessed with this guy, and I'm like, I mean to watch him. I do. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I really think you would enjoy him because he's got 2 channels now. His Vigilante Gamer channel, which is his gaming breakdowns tactics one, and then he's got one which is Keto, where he's got a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Not like, you know, MMA level or anything like that, but he's a student of it. And just with his mindset, he's got a very analytical mind, and he breaks down. You know, he's done one where he talks about cops trying to arrest someone and how bad their technique was and how they could have done it better. But he did one of Toprek, and even with him, with his, you know, he's probably one of the best tactical players ever, Vigilante Gamer, that is. He talks about Tope, and he goes, at the end of the day, the average mortal human cannot do what Tope does. Tope is just something, he's, you know, there's Smoke, Shroud, he's on that level, if not bigger. He's just a freak. A fucking freak of nature. I don't know how.
He's good, dude. He's good. Tope is really good. Fuck you, Tope, if you're watching this. I still love you, but I fuck you. Anyway, but yeah, he's really good. He's very, very good.
Yep. And he's got the thing I like about him, and it's, you know, something else I'll say about Smoke as well, is, you know, those 2 guys, they could just run around and PvP and just wreck people nonstop. But the thing I like about Tope is his laugh. That's what I like the most. It's not how good he is at PvP. It's when he's doing that video of his where he disguises himself in the trash heap, and he's shooting the crossbow at people. Oh my God. It is just
so I'm like, dude, that is like next level when I watched that video, because that was up near Severograd. It's a route that is really not traveled that much on the northern highway. And like that spot right there is like one of the last spots you would think that somebody's waiting.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching these players clear on the inside, and they come out and start looting, and it's just frag. He's dead. Like I can't believe it.
His ass off. It's that laugh of his. It's infectious. You can't help but laugh. You can't help.
Yeah.
And he's such a complex guy as well. Like I remember when I interviewed him all those years ago, and his hobby's mushroom hunting. So yeah, when I had those signs redone for Cabello for Banov, we had Toporix one done to Toporix Mushroom Farm. Because if you know Topin, he posts every now and then. He just likes to go out into the forest and pick wild mushrooms and bring them home and cook them up. That's one of his. He said to me that was one of the things he likes to do to relax. And now he takes little Lolly out with him as well, and they pick mushrooms together. But he's such a nice guy as well. Yeah, he could be cantankerous on Twitter about the state of the game and things like that. But so what? He's a person. He's got emotions. He's got opinions.
Oh. Tope's a good dude. He's not a bad guy at all.
Funny man. Makes
me
laugh.
When I first found out about him picking mushrooms, I was like shocked. I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was actually, I believe it was myself, Miner, and Tope we were playing, and Rolf made a joke about
Rolf is Minder for those who don't know.
He made a joke about him picking mushrooms, and I was like, yeah, well, like, only idiots do that. Like, I can't see him doing that. And it was just quiet. It was like, wait, I actually picked mushrooms. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. And I love that, man. Everyone, that's why I asked you, what do you do? Well, do you now get the feeling where I was going with it? What do you have any other little hobbies?
I do. Well, not unusual, no. But I do so I'm a very big trail hiker and biker. I have a trail bike in the other bedroom that's all decked out. I have a bag that sits right next to it.
America.
I trail bike in America and hike as much as I can. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we have national parks here that are some of the biggest in the country here.
Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Coast Trail.
Well, those are on the West Coast.
Yep.
But for the most part, the bigger trails are on the West Coast anyway. But the trails that I hit are on the Northeast. But they're big, and you can get lost for hours. I did get lost on a trail. The first time I went out, and I was only meant to go 3 hours, and I ended up getting lost and almost crossing a state line. And I had to get a ride back actually with my bike. But I was on that trail for 12 and a half hours. And I knew something was wrong when I wasn't ending up anywhere and I was in the middle of nowhere, and it started to get nighttime, and I'm like, okay, I keep a fire kit in my bag and a first aid kit and food and water and stuff like that. So I could have been all right, but I'm like, man, I have responsibilities and stuff. Like I can't end up somewhere. So
and man, the reason when you said you do trail hiking, like I'm obsessed with true crime and unsolved mystery videos and stuff like that. The missus and I go to bed every night listening to weird sort of stories. Mr. Ballin is one that we're big into at the moment, a former Navy SEAL guy who does stuff. And there's a series at the moment that's taking a lot of interest with people, and it's called The Missing 411. And it's a book series written by a guy, and it's about all these people disappearing in national parks in America under really weird circumstances. Sometimes they reappear, sometimes they're never found, sometimes they're found, and just weird stuff happening. Between that, the bears, the cougars, the wolves not so much. I think the cougars and the bears, from what I could see, seem to be more of an issue. Man, you Americans are fucking insane. And you're probably packing yourself a sidearm at least when you go trail hiking. But
I carry a Glock 17 with 5 mags with hollow points.
Some of these people who goes up there with nothing but just bear spray, and they haven't even, the bear spray might be 5 years old. They haven't tested it or anything like that. And I'm just, I'm not going hiking in America without someone at least having a gun, preferably me. But yeah.
But you just have to know your layout. You just have to know your geography. And I think it's really important. A lot of people, like the average American person that goes on those trails and gets lost or gets abducted for the most part, isn't doing any research at all. They're just planning a fun weekend and they go out and then shit hits the fan. You really have to look into where you're going and absolutely know what kind of wildlife that you may encounter out there. If you do encounter something out there and it's aggressive, 9 times out of 10, if you're on the West Coast anyway, it's a big ass bear. And there's bear attacks all the freaking time. Actually, they just posted one on Twitter. 2 American boys were mauled by a grizzly bear, and they actually beat it until they physically beat it with their fists and rocks and were able to ward it off. It's actually an incredible story. You should look into that.
I just shared a video on Twitter. A guy in Japan, same sort of thing. made the mistake. He went into the national park area when it was supposed to be closed, and he's climbing down the side of this mountain, and a black bear has a go at him. But it was because he was near the cub. So
that's so terrifying. Lucky that guy was on the ledge like he was, and he
you
was
saw that
able
video
to
too, did you?
maintain. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
think if he's on a flat spot on top there, I think he's
gone.
screwed. I really
he's
do.
done.
Yeah.
And it was just that sidestep, and the bear just, it's. I saw a meme once. Moments in nature you never see. It's a deer jumping over a log gracefully. You always think of your animals running through the forest and how nimble and graceful they are, and it's the antlers about to get caught on the branch above it. That bear was one of those moments. It ran at him, he sidestepped, and the bear tumbled down. Luckily for the bear, it wasn't too steep of an incline, but it got a bit of a shock that the guy got out of the way. But his reflexes on point. On point.
I think, Boydie, I would have shit myself.
Yeah.
If a big ass bear like that. I mean, granted, I would have had a firearm on my hip, but the last thing you want to do is kill something like that, right? Because you don't know why
Plus,
it's attacking.
how
You're
long
in
it takes
its
to get
home.
the gun out. I don't think he would have had the time to get the gun out in that.
Not where he's at. If he's right-handed, no way. And I think that if it were me, the round that I carry, I think it would have taken me probably 2 mags to get any sort of damage on that thing whatsoever. If I could legibly or hit it accurately while I was on a ledge with one hand free and trying to keep it, swinging it away from me. That was insane video.
Yeah.
Super nuts.
Yeah. I love those animal attack videos, and I'm just obsessed with that sort of stuff. Maybe because I live in Australia and it's absolutely insane here. But yeah. For us, we're pretty fine if we stay on land. Yeah, we've got the snakes. Yeah, we've got the spiders. But most of the time they'll get out of your way. The funnel web's a bit of a different beast. It's an aggressive spider, and sadly it's the deadliest one in Australia as well. But it's fairly localized to New South Wales, so that's not where I live. Snakes, yeah, they're fucking everywhere. We have the second deadliest snake. I could have one in my backyard right now. I've had a baby one of it, and sadly I had to kill it because the dogs were right near it. And even as a baby, it'll kill you. But other than that, we're fairly fine. The water, you don't really going in the water around Australia is kind of crazy. Between all the sharks, and then the further north you go, you got the crocs and you got the stingers. You guys with your bears, man, and it blows my mind that hiking is such a massive pastime in America. And it's like,
you're talking about Americans are fucking crazy. Are you serious? I would never be caught dead in Australia because you know what? You guys got things that creep, crawl, and I don't even know, this fly in every direction that you go. I mean, you got big ass bats, big ass freaking snakes, spiders, sharks. You got freaking crabs bigger than my head, bro. Are you kidding me? I would be caught dead in Australia. I mean, Australia is a beautiful country, don't get me wrong, but I would absolutely never be caught dead there. Actually, one of my good friends, he's actually a mod in my stream. His name is Ryan. He's from Australia, but he lives in Canada. He's like a brother to me, and he's actually gonna move back. And he asked me like, you should come visit me when I move back. And nah, man, it's not happening, dude. No way. I would never. Absolutely not. No way.
Mate, seriously, the only real one that's a genuine threat in Australia is the saltwater crocodile, in my opinion. Most of the other ones, it's, yes, the sharks are a bit of an issue, but they're not really actively hunting. They sometimes do. We've seen the footage. We saw that poor guy off the coast in Sydney earlier this year, and that's tragic. But most of the time, they're not actively sitting outside Bondi Beach waiting for the humans to enter the water. Crocs, fuck them, man. They scare the living shit out of me. I've never seen one in the wild. But they say that for every croc you see, there's 10 you can't see. I shared a video yesterday of this place called Cales Crossing in the Northern Territory. Oh my God, mate, that place is just insanity, absolute insanity. It was one of the most tragic stories ever. A father gets killed in front of his son. like decapitated. The croc took his fucking head off in front of his son. And this is a place where, the locals, they get kind of a bit complacent, and they forget what crocs are capable of, which is so bizarre to me. But he was trying to do something good. Some city folk were going to try and drive across the river, and they haven't got a proper bridge there. It's a flooding bridge, and it's very tidal because it's near the ocean. And when the tide comes in, the water level rises, and he was like, "You can't come in," but they couldn't hear him. So he walked across the bridge, waist deep water, and told him, "Nah, guys, you can't do it now. You're going to have to wait." And then on the way back, he lost his footing, and a big croc just come up and killed him. Really, really sad. But yeah, the crocs, man, they actively hunt humans. They're pretty much like polar bears. Polar bears really don't care either. We are well and truly on the food table of polar bears. They see you, they're hungry, they're going to try and kill you. Crocodiles are the same, but they're smart. They remember. They'll watch people. They'll learn patterns, and just fucking evil looking things as well, man. They scare the crap out of me. You look at a bear. Oh, cute bear. They look beautiful. You look at a croc.
Not me. What do you mean? Okay, me because I'm American. Not me. If I see a bear, I'm not. Hell no, it's not beautiful. Get away from me. What are you talking about, bro? Have you seen grizzly bears? They're like 10, 11 feet tall. Are you serious? My God.
My mate Moonshine, who's in chat, he's got a question as well. But he always sends me photos. He lives in West Virginia. And he has wildlife in his backyard all the time, black bears, deer, and all the rest of it. And yeah, it's just, you guys coexist with these massive critters that, even the coyotes can be a bit of a
coyotes threat. Now. Yeah, coyotes kill a lot. They kill dogs, they kill cats, they kill small children.
Yeah.
Coyotes are definitely a big problem in this country. Also, I just want to point out that I would never live in Florida because it's like an American Australia. They've got, I don't know if it's alligators or crocodiles, but we've got some big fucking animals down there, like 9 feet long, 10 feet long. And
then that Burmese python invasion they're having as well. Which is pretty scary.
Yeah, the Everglades.
Yeah.
The Everglades. No thanks. No thanks. Florida's gorgeous. I'd never go there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And they ride those flimsy little airboats around, and it's like, nah, man, nah. But the Australians do the same thing, man. The locals up there, have you seen the boats that they use in the rivers in Northern Australia? They call them tinnies. Mate, if I go into one of those rivers, I want to be in something that's at least 8 foot above the water level. These people are literally in something you can dangle your arm over the side in the water. And it's like, you've got fucking, 20-foot saltwater crocodiles, man. No, but they don't think nothing of it.
You Australians are fucking psycho. 100% crazy. Oh my God.
Now, Moonshine wants to know, have you ever ridden the Hatfield and McCoy Trail?
No, I have not. I actually don't even know where that is.
Yep.
So I'm relatively new to that. I've only been trail biking for about 3 years. And I've been doing it. I just went out and got a trail bike. And I've been doing it locally and in Southern Ohio, which is where I am.
Okay. Now,
yeah, I'm not sure exactly where that is.
How has your return back to Twitch been received by everyone? Getting some good numbers again?
No, it's dude. And honestly, so do you know who Blink Tactics is?
Yes.
Do you know who that is?
Yep.
Okay, so Paul, like my first week back that I came back, Paul asked me live on stream, and honestly, he was the first one to say this, and he was like, be honest with me. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be easy for you to get the numbers that you had before you left, or close, or not at all? And my answer was not at all. And there's a reason for that. And it's nothing to do with me. It's just because there are so many more streamers in this section than when I left that have way more talent than I do, that are way more entertaining than I am, that are absolutely killing it right now, that are partnered. I mean, and then there's YouTube DayZ streamers that people have left this platform for to go watch them on YouTube. I mean, we got guys like Baby Nades in this section, the Fresh Spawn Boys, John and George. They're killing it over there on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen their content. Like, it's incredible.
The standard of content has really risen, hasn't it?
So this is what I am not flamboyant guy. I'm going to be genuine, and that's how I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a certain play style in the game, and I've stuck to that. I, dude, it's hard to compete with these new streamers that are like uh, absolutely incredible. It's really, really difficult.
But that's where, you know, and you've brought up an interesting topic here. Explain Smoke, explain the Running Man.
What about them? Smoke and what do you mean?
With
Those guys are killing it.
Yeah, they're killing it. But you look at the quality of production that some people are putting into their streams, you know, with overlays and shifting and, you know, webcams and all the rest of it. And those two guys are keeping it simple. You know, Smoke in particular, you know, doesn't even have to do what the majority of us have to do, where, you know, well, I've just had one. Darkwing, thank you so much for the $2 tip there, buddy. Really appreciate it. He doesn't even do that. He just he does do that. So no, he's at that point now where he waits until there's a normal break and then he reads them all off, and people are happy with it. But he never webcams. His transitions don't look like they've been done by some, you know, someone's paid $1,000 to some tech experts. He's just got very simple, you know, screenshots that just transition into each other. He's got such a there's no energy to him, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but he's not like a Lax Hawthorne or a Uncle Ray Ray or a Ceramore where they're batshit fucking crazy and the energy gets everyone hyped up. Smoke's just Smoke. He's so chill. Running Man's just the Running Man. He's so chill. They don't have that hype, but they're the two biggest names in the game. It's such a hard game to work out what's going to work, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. And, you know, and I see, so Smoke is actually my second favorite streamer. No, he's probably my top 3. So I watch him all the freaking time.
Yep.
And he knows who I am, and we have conversations once in a while. Unfortunately, not in private. You know, I'd like to talk to him on a more regular basis, and I would love to play with him. It's never happened. But when he sees my name in streaming, like, he knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, I love the simplicity, and I've always been that way too.
Yep.
My stream is very simple too. I'm not flashy by any means whatsoever. I think what makes Running Man so entertaining is that he has this genuine love for everything that he encounters or experiences in this game.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what. Oh, I just got killed. Oh, fucking hell, that was fucking awesome. He just starts laughing. He loves it. I'm like, what the fuck? Well, I'd be so mad. Like, that's why I'm DudeIRage. You know, I'd be so fucking mad. But no. So what's addicting about Paul is that Paul, he just has a genuine love for no matter what happens in the game, and that is so addicting to watch. And Smoke is just very lackadaisical. He just doesn't care. He's chilling. And then when you shoot at him, he turns into Taupe on crack. He's just 10 times over. He's one of the best PvPers you will ever see in any game. And it is a sight to see every single time.
Yep. And I honestly think what has been key to their success, and what will be key to you getting back up there again, is you're just being yourself. You're not trying to be someone. They're not trying to be someone they're not. They're, you know, you can watch someone and you can tell after a while that they're putting on something that's not who they normally are. They're not the real them. And it's almost impossible to be phony forever. And phony is probably not the right word, but to perform. You know,
a personality. You become that to entertain people.
Mm-hmm. But if you just basically, you know, being yourself, maybe just a little bit more, you know, rambunctious or whatever, that's easy to do, and people will, you know, if your personality style appeals to them, then they'll gravitate to you and they'll stick with you, and you'll get back up there, mate. Yeah, you're entertaining.
We'll see. I don't know, man. It's been hard.
Any more drinking streams?
No. Nope. The last time I really got intoxicated was with Minder when we played Stalker, Erno's Stalker server, and it was the first time it was released back then. And we played a game called Kill Shots, and oh my god, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. For the right time and the right place, it's okay. But, you know, I think I've only ever really done one, and that was the interview with Mr. Blackout. And as much fun as it was, I don't know how people can do it regularly. I don't. You know, one, it can't be good for your liver to be doing it regularly. And two, you know, just alcohol makes you do silly things. And terms of service on places like Twitch and YouTube, yeah, they don't like silly things that much, do they, mate?
Twitch in itself is a very silly platform if you think about it, considering. But no,
Yeah.
if you drink a lot of alcohol on stream, you're playing a dangerous game.
Yep.
And I think honestly, as time goes on, they will go away from that. I really do think they will.
What do you think of all these gambling streams?
I'm not a gambler. I don't even buy lottery tickets or play Keno. Those are like $1 a piece. I like to keep the money that I have. I don't really believe in that.
They call it the poor tax, I've heard.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues on this platform that need to be addressed. I think they're going in the right direction that they did address it, because you got to understand, like, it doesn't matter that people behind a screen are entering that they're over the age of 13. A lot of the times they're not. I've got people in my chat that I won't name by name or in this community that were 10 years old, 11, 12 years old when they started watching my stream. And now they're grown adults. And if Twitch found out about it, they would make sure that they were banned off the platform, because that's what they do. They've done it to streamers that made accounts, at under 13 years old. But besides the point of that, we've got young minds on this platform that get exposed to, I mean, I'm going to say something big here that's probably going to be super controversial, but not alcoholism, gambling, drug use, and the biggest one is sexual content.
Yeah.
Modern day media is over sexualized. I can't get on TikTok.
Society.
I can't get on freaking Instagram or Snapchat without seeing somebody in their birthday suit or in their undergarments. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a guy. Like, okay, so yeah, I like to see some of that stuff. But
Mate, I saw some of your Twitter likes back in the day, mate.
Oh, absolutely. And I got hounded for that. I got hounded for that real bad. Like, people were like, bro, like, why is this showing up on my feed? There was one streamer that called me out on it. She was like, bro, I really don't want to see that shit. Like, really? But anyway, that's besides the point. But it's way worse now than it's ever been. It's like, I'm Boydie, I'm not kidding. I cannot open a single app that I'm on if I have no desire to see that shit. It is unavoidable. Yeah. It is unavoidable. It is on YouTube. It's even here on Twitch. And like, that's a problem. I think it's a huge problem, because it's just my 2 cents. This is a gaming platform. I'm cool if you want to do an OnlyFans and do hot sub streams and stuff, like that's fine, but there are other platforms for that. It doesn't really like grossly affect me, so I don't really like speak on it too much, because
can you see chat? Can you see chat?
No, I can't see chat. No, I can't.
Foxy Pote, dude, I simp.
Yeah. So I have an email for that from back in the day, dude. I said, but you're not even allowed to say that on Twitch, or even have it as a word anymore on Twitch.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to have that. But you're allowed to be basically naked on Twitch. Are you kidding me? There are so many talented female broadcasters that don't use a camera or don't do those sort of things, and a lot of the times they're overshadowed by someone who's in a bikini, because at the end of the day,
these people coming in and going, why don't you have an OnlyFans, or you should do an OnlyFans and stuff like that. And it's like,
they don't want to be sexualized.
That is just not so inappropriate to come in and say that to someone.
Yes, that not everybody wants to be seen in a sexual manner. Some people keep that stuff private behind closed doors, which I have a lot of respect for, because that's not commonplace these days. But it's like that people get overshadowed by that sort of thing, and it's disheartening. It sucks to see. Like, there's a time and a place for it, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate that sort of content just like any other male in this world does. But on certain platforms, it's just not what I want to see. I hate seeing it on Twitch. I really do, because I'm fortunate to know a lot of talented female broadcasters on this platform that I love to play with and talk to.
Killbeans, Ariana, bloody, the list just goes on. There's so many of them. Twitter's getting really bad as well. Like, it's pretty much every day for the last 2 to 3 weeks I'm just blocking them because I'm not interested. But I get this follow, and the profile pic is some attractive looking female, and I click on it. I always like to click on it just to see who they are, check their bio, and there's nothing, maybe an OnlyFans link, and just a series of 3 to 4, maybe 5 photos of them looking very attractive in various states of undress. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is not normal. This is fucked up. I don't like it. As you said, mate, if you want to do that sort of shit, do it. But read the room, man. It's Twitter will ban people for wrongthink, but they're allowing all these sexualized accounts, and just oh god, it's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, the all of them. They're just oof.
It's common now. It's a normality now to have an OnlyFans and to produce that content on every platform that you can. And like I understand why they do it, and it makes sense from a financial standpoint and a growth standpoint. It absolutely does, but it's just it's not their fault because I would absolutely take advantage of the fact that they don't do anything about it too. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Absolutely. If you could go on a platform like Twitch, and Twitch is the largest streaming platform, period, next to YouTube. Probably, I would say it's probably bigger than YouTube. I don't know. That's probably
it's a lot bigger.
Yeah,
I think the market share is still over 50% of the market. YouTube's the next, and then it's Facebook Gaming and a few other sites.
I don't know why people get on Facebook Gaming, but that's besides the point. But the point is that you can make a killing on here advertising that sort of thing, and I dude, there's so many of them that are really, really successful doing that. So, I don't blame them. Twitch is going to do nothing about it. So,
look, and if you're happy to do that, if that's how you're going to make your bag, you do you. But yes, I 100% agree with you that we're becoming too sexualized as a society, as a platform. It's some things I don't really want to know everything about your sex life shared publicly on Twitter and things like that. Keep that to yourself. That's for you, your bedroom, and whoever consensually agrees to have sex with you or do other weird shit that you might be into.
Whatever the fuck you want to do, just that's your issue, right? Do your damn that's prerogative.
As long as it's legal and you're not hurting anyone, fucking have at it.
I think there's a big issue too with it's not transparency now, but now people are more inclined to put everything that they've got going on in their lives on fucking social media.
Yeah.
On Twitter, on Snapchat. Like, dude, you don't need to post some of the things that you're posting. You can keep things private. That doesn't exist anymore. Or at least it's a rarity for the most part. Some people post everything that they do. It's just
I post quite a bit, but there's stuff I won't post. There's stuff I don't talk about my family much. I don't talk about my relationships, with people IRL much. I just talk about social media stuff. I share a lot of videos I watch. I share some opinions, stuff like that. But that's more for the discussion because outside of my family, I'm a very antisocial person, believe it or not. I don't socialize, so that's kind of my socializing vent is, looking for conversations with people to be able to talk, hopefully rationally about stuff, because there's a lot of people who won't talk about stuff. There's a lot of streamers who won't talk about politics or stuff like that. Whereas I think it's great when people do. You've got to create a good culture around it. And I get that for certain streamers, once you get to a certain size, unless that is your bag to talk politics and current events, like a Hassan Asabi, whatever his name is, and so on. But for smaller channels, I think it's a great way to build a community, just to be open and be able to discuss something, because there's a lot of people, it's a bit of a problem with society these days. I'm not an outlier in that I'm quite an antisocial person. There's a lot of people who don't socialize a lot. They might struggle due to psychological conditions and stuff like that. So their way of communicating is on social media and in Discords and watching streams and things like that, and just wanting to talk about stuff. You just got to be able to have a bit of maturity about it, and a few basic guidelines that be respectful. And that's probably one of the big issues as well, mate. People are losing respect for each other.
Oh yeah, it's so. I see so much outrageous, egregious stuff on social media from just no respect at all. Absolutely. Yeah, and I get some of that stuff myself, but I see it in real life every day on the job. I see it.
Yeah, so I was about to say with your job,
it's normal
mate,
to me.
With your job, you're a white man who's a cop. Probably two of the most hated things in America right now.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely not easy, but I've had I've had people call me some really egregious things, and it sucks. It sucks to be categorized in that manner. To
Hmm.
be, I don't care. You call me a pig, whatever. Call me or oink at me. That shit makes me laugh. Like I don't care. I'll laugh at them. I literally laugh at them. Like, oh, that's great, man. I'm glad that made you feel better in the moment. I just let it go.
Yep.
Um, but for all of the bad times, I've had people literally, can hug me. It's so tight that I can't breathe and cry to me that they were grateful that I was there,
Yep.
or happy that I was able to make them feel safe. Um, for every negative, there's some good stuff too, and it makes it all worthwhile. It really does.
Those feelings you were just talking about, then they're the best, man. When you're able to do something nice for someone, it's why we do things like the giveaways in our community and that, because as much as dude, you know me when it comes to Twitter and things like that, mate. I like to get into it with people, and I'll argue and I'll call a spade, but I like to. It's those moments are interesting. I do enjoy them, being able to have a good discussion with people. But the stuff I really remember is when you're able to do something nice for someone. When the community rallies around something, and we fundraise for a memorial, a funeral for someone. Just those little moments. I share a lot of that sort of stuff when I see it, because that's the stuff that matters the most. It's not the disagreements over left and right politics and this sexuality, that sexuality. None of that stuff really matters. At the end of the day, it's how you just treat your fellow man as a whole. And I don't care about race, gender, any of that sort of stuff. As long as you're not hurting other people, and if a person needs help, I'll do everything I can to try and help them.
Yeah, no, and you know what? And honestly, um, there are a lot of communities out there that are on many whatever streaming platform that are good, and that game communities are fantastic. But I got to tell you, man, I could say it 1,000 times over. You already know where I'm going with this. DayZ is one of the most wonderful communities that you will ever come across. Even if you don't stay long,
Yeah.
you will definitely feel how long you've been there with
A
how
lot of people
people
would
are
disagree
to
with
each
you,
other.
though. A lot of people, you see it said all the
I,
time. Such a toxic community, and I agree
I
with you.
I just well, okay. All right. So, since you bring it up, I mean, I won't go into detail, but there is some toxic bullshit that happens in DayZ community.
Yeah,
Believe me. If you
yeah,
don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not happening. I've
yeah.
been a part of it. I've been dragged into stuff, and I've seen it firsthand behind closed doors. Like I have DMs out the ass, like this. But I don't talk about that stuff publicly because I don't like to become involved. I actually had somebody tell me just the other day that maybe I'm not as successful as I used to be because I don't buy into drama, and that's just not something I do. Um, but it happens. It definitely happens a lot in this a lot in this community for sure.
Oh, look, I shared one publicly just recently. I had someone send me a message telling me that it was going to hurt me if I stayed associated with Archie Stormcloud. And I shared it publicly, and I
Oh
said,
yeah, that's right.
I don't care
Remember.
who the fuck you are. I treat people how they treat me. I know he's a bit of an edgelord. I love the guy. I just released his spotlight interview today. I started listening back to it. And if you've ever sat and had a conversation with the guy, he's one of the funniest motherfuckers in this whole community. His humor's a bit edgy, yes, but it's humor. At the end of the day, he's just a good, solid, nice guy.
I've had some good conversations with Archie. Unfortunately, he left for a long time, and I didn't know what happened to him. Thankfully, I found out later on from one of his close friends that knew exactly what was going on, and I didn't know. I disassociated myself. But Archie has probably one of the most top-notch streams and content from the DayZ section that you will see. He's very grossly underrated.
Yeah,
100%.
he's funny. He puts a lot of effort into even his videos and stuff like that. He puts on a show. He's a performer. Me, I turn the webcam on and you just get Boydie. I'm pretty much the same person on camera, a little bit toned down. People think that I'm edgy on camera, mate. I'm worse while fucking camera. The jokes that we say here in our house. Oh my fucking god, I'd get cancelled if anyone ever had if we set a live stream up in this house. But it's just that it's jokes. We take the piss out of each other. The missus takes jokes out of me for stuff. We take jokes out of our son. He takes jokes takes the piss out of me. We just like to have a laugh. Almost anything's on the table. But it's hard because again, going back to the way things are at the moment, if someone gets their nose out of joint with you, they'll look for any little tiny infraction you've said. And it's not just in the DayZ community, it's in the world in general. Look at poor old Kevin Hart. Made a bad taste joke back in 2012 about his son in a dollhouse or something. Apologised for it. And then it got brought up again. Like we're talking about with Minder. I'm not going to go into the details of it. The information's out there if people look into it. But Minder is an opinionated person. He gives his opinion on something, and if people don't like his opinion or disagree with him, they'll go back to something that happened, 7 years ago now? Some fucking bullshit like that, and bring that up again and try to say he's a bad man because of this. Fuck off. Fuck you.
There are people that hold on to some really old shit in this community.
Yeah.
And it's usually the same people that just bring that bullshit up over and over again. And I pay no mind to that stuff. And I think, well, I mean, obviously he has to, being the large name that he is, he has to comment on this stuff. But I know he doesn't like it. I know he hates it just as much as everyone else does. He is constantly under fire, and I know it's stressful for him, but he does a really good job of maintaining a very professional.
He's another good example of a professional
persona.
Streamer. You look at his stream room, his videos, everything about him is professional. I would love to meet the guy IRL. He's a fascinating person, very cultured at times.
Not me. I don't want to meet him. I don't never want to meet. That's just a joke. He actually invited me to his house for TwitchCon Amsterdam when we were still Karma Crew. Myself, Tope, Perno, and we were planning that. And I can't remember what happened. It might have been COVID that happened. I think it might have been COVID that happened.
I think it was,
never went down.
Yep, I think it was. Could you imagine if they had a DayZ con?
That would never happen. But if they did, it would be incredible. But what we did, so if there are any North American DayZ streamers or community members, myself, JD Plays, and a few other guys were talking about it on Twitter. We're actually going to try this next TwitchCon to get together community members, whatever. If you're affiliated with DayZ or just love DayZ, at the next TwitchCon outside of TwitchCon. We're not going to go to the con. We're just going to have our own little DayZ get together. So we haven't ironed out the kinks, and we haven't talked about it in a couple of weeks, but that's something we've talked about.
The Scum community in Australia just really did a good one. We had PAX Australia just recently, and the first night they got all the content creators together because they're a very tight-knit little community, and Dude Thor actually streamed it, had his phone or a camera set up on the table, and streamed the entire meetup. It was messy, mate. It was absolutely messy. Because of COVID, there's been certain changes to society, and one of them now is you go to a restaurant and usually there's the little barcode thing, and you can just scan the barcode and you can order drinks. Someone got the image of the barcode, and the next thing they're all sitting there and all these drinks started turning up. The stream was actually buying them drinks, and a lot of alcohol got consumed that night. Someone donated 1,000 Aussie dollars to one of the guys' accounts and said that's for drinks for you all for tonight. And it was I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but the bits I got to watch of it, it was so wholesome, mate. The community for all of these streamers, they all knew that Dude Thor was going to be streaming it. So there was, it's a smaller streaming community, the Scum community, but there was, dozens of people in this stream watching. I'm not sure what the numbers got up to, but yeah, and they were all part of the event. They were asking questions, and the streamers were all answering questions, and it was just great to have all these people together IRL. But the real magic was Face Roll Fatality, a mate of mine. He printed off all these Scum meetup cards and handed them out to all of the streamers there. So that day and the next day, Saturday, they were handing out these Scum meetup cards, and they'd arranged a venue so that all of the fans of the streamers could come and socialize with them as well. It was, the actual Scum dev team sent Face Roll a box full of merch for them to hand out on their behalf at the event. It was so well done. It was the standard for how the community can run an event. It's the best I've seen. A night of just the content creators getting together, and then a night, if you didn't want to go, if you didn't feel comfortable, you didn't have to go to that event. But for the streamers who did feel comfortable, they all went there, and it was great to see such a united community putting on such a great event for all of the people who support them. Whether they're buying subs and donating money or just helping you out by being there, all of them were invited, and it was, honest to God, it was one of the most beautiful things I've seen. So well done. And the community rewarded them by basically paying for their drinks the whole night. There was some sore heads the next day, mate. There was some sore heads.
I'd like to see DayZ do something like that. I really would.
Wouldn't you? Oh my God.
The last time they did something was when they did a big announcement. They grabbed Markstrom TV, Deadly Slob, and I can't remember there was one or two more streamers, but they did it and Brian Hicks was the community manager at the time. And it was at a con. I believe it was at TwitchCon. I can't remember exactly, but they did like some big announcement. And they had like a whole gaming setup. Like they had computers lined up and people were able to play a certain patch of DayZ. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but that was the last time that I personally remember or seen DayZ do something like that, and it was just for an announcement, unfortunately.
Yeah, they've done a few stands, BI stand with Armor, DayZ, and all the rest of it. But I would really love to see something where they, put it on, get the content creators there as well. Invite Paul, invite Smoke. I don't know if Smoke would go; he's a very private guy. But and just get some of those. I'm going to bring it up again, mate. I think people are sick of me fucking bringing it up, but they really need to do Survivor games again. Not the shitty fucking mod they made, but the OG Survivor games. Bring that back. I swear by my mother's life, I don't like my mum, so that's not really much of a swearing, but I swear it would go off. You get the right people, you run it well, with the qualifiers like they used to have, where the everyman streamers and content creators can all have a go, and then bring back some of the classic old names: Sacriel, Deadly Slob, Psy Syndicate, and so on. All those big name people who were part of it, and then all these new names that have just risen up. The Running Man, Smoke, Toprek, Minder, Happy Bombs is another one. That's another guy whose production quality is just fucking out of this world. And it would be one of the greatest events ever. DayZ is such a unique battle royale potential for, as much as I hate it, but as we've seen with, Ariana's Queens of the Castle event and, the Kings of the Castle, which is I'm really excited for as well. The beauty of DayZ is it's not just a battle royale like PUBG, where all you've got to do is run and find a gun and shoot everyone. There's so much more to it. Watching these people struggling with hydration and struggling with food, and it's such a complex game that, as much as it's slow paced, did you watch the Survivor games back in the day when they were live streamed?
I did. So that's part of the reason why I became aware of Blink Tactics, because I was watching him play in that tournament. And he made it really far. He ended up getting killed, but he took like 2 or 3 guys out with him when he did get killed. But Survivor games, correct me if I'm wrong. I could have swore that Survivor games was community hosted. Was it not?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so when I was watching,
let me clarify. Sorry, it was semi-community hosted. Brian Hicks, why am I'm just having Brian Hicks and the team, Soma is the other guy, Lou, and a bunch of others were the ones who created the idea. It was based on, there was one other event done in Minecraft, I think, beforehand, and Soma had the idea that would translate well to DayZ. He was in with Brian and all these other guys. Brian was on the dev team then, I believe, or no, he wasn't. He was still working at Microsoft, but they crafted it, and being modders, then Brian became part of the DayZ team, but he was still working on Survivor games. So that's why the and even the early ones done in DayZ standalone back way, there was stuff done with the game that no one else had access to. You know, the names showing and health statuses and things like that. So could you imagine what they could do now with the controls they have, the mods and everything else?
People don't give DayZ enough credit. DayZ really birthed, honestly, it made Twitch itself
Yep.
popular, and it made the battle royale genre popular. I mean, people don't give it credit, and maybe they just don't know or don't want to admit it. I don't know, because DayZ has a really bad rep outside of the community for whatever reason. It's gotten better as years have gone on, but like, it's always like an outside inside joke, like DayZ's fucking, it sucks. This game
Yeah.
sucks ass, but yeah, no. So DayZ is very unique in the sense of what you can do with it. And now that they've added modding to it, it's even gotten the horizons have expanded even more than that. When I was watching Survivor games back in the day, it was people like Sacriel, like Break,
Yep.
and a few others. But do you remember? Do you remember Play 420? Do you remember Play 420?
The 420 servers?
No, play the streamer Play
No, I
420.
don't.
You don't remember Play 420? He was one of
No.
the biggest partnered streamers in the section, and he hosted a tournament called Team Battles.
Nope.
You don't remember Team Battles? Okay, Team Battles was the biggest tournament. I mean, Running Man was playing in it. Murder for Hire was playing in it. I played in one of them. Blink Taxes played in another one. He was my partner in one of them. I'm pretty sure Archie Stormcloud played in one too. But all the names at the time was playing. It was one of the best hosted tournaments outside of Survivor games that I have ever seen. And if you had an opportunity to be a part of that, man, it was special. That was the closest thing that I ever got to play in Survivor games, unfortunately.
I just shared my screen. This is not the very first one. This is Survivor Games 1. The first one was called Hunger Games, but they had to change that, obviously.
Oh, look at Shorty Guy and Lyric were in that one. No shit. Yeah, I don't even know if Shorty Guy's name is Shorty Guy anymore.
Omnikai, Psy Syndicate, Hybrid Panda.
Psy Syndicate. Psy Syndicate doesn't even play fucking video games anymore.
Yep. And then now if we look at the very first one, does it have the player list? No, they're still trying to get info on that one. But yeah, it just got better and better as time went on. Survivor Games 5 was oh my god, that was awesome. Mr. Moon and Mr. Moon did his training day video with Chow. Sacriel, Break, Anthony Kongpan, Silent Sentry, Psy Syndicate, Cat. Just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. These were just such good events. And then BI bought it. But what do you think? Do you think it could go well if they did it again?
I think it would go arguably more successful now.
Yep.
If they could manage to grab whoever hosted this or co-hosted this, if they could get one big name, someone like Summit 1G, who has actually been more recently on DayZ in the last year, to be involved in the tournament, I think it would explode DayZ,
Shroud.
and I think the tournament would become wildly successful. Shroud's a huge one. Or get the both of them on a team. Oh my God, if you could draw those two names in, you would probably draw Deadly Slob in again, because I love watching Sean play freaking DayZ. Yep. A lot of people do. And Smoke involved, and then you could get some of the new faces in there like Holly, or you could get Lottie. Lottie's been in this section forever. She has been a streamer in DayZ forever. Get her involved. Oh my God, dude. Don't get me started. I would love to. I wouldn't even want to play in it. I would just want to watch it. I wouldn't want to play in that. I want to watch.
Yep, it's insane. Absolutely. It would go off. And as you bang on the money, if they could get the right name. So it might cost a bit of money. At the end of the day, they're businesses. Slipping 20 grand or whatever. I don't know if they've got that in the budget. But it would blow the game up again. Possibly not in the right way. You could argue that it'd just bring in a bunch of people who just want to run around and kill everyone. But at the end of the day, that's still more people coming in and playing the game. And that's a style of DayZ that is very popular, as we see with all the PvP servers. But then you would find people realizing that this is more than just running around and killing everyone. Even on the PvP servers, you've still got to do the basics of get some food, get some water, make sure you've got some bandages and things like that. And you'd find it would have a trickle down effect to the PvE style servers. Of people who, okay, I can do a bit of both. I can go and do this, I can go and do that. It would be one of the best marketing things I feel that DayZ could do, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if it, like I said, even if they were like, hey, let's do this again, and let's pick certain casters like Amish said, who did a fantastic job narrating the Queens of the Castle event. Get somebody like him involved. He can draw even 1,000 viewers on his own. And then you do something like that. They're talking about probably at least 10,000 people that would come in and watch that. Even if they were watching from Summit's point of view, those people would be all over watching every angle. Watching all the streamers. I mean, DayZ is at the best it's ever been right now, as far as daily average players goes, and the things that you can do and the experience that you can achieve on the game. It can be different, and it attributes to every single play style that you have, or every person that plays a certain way. There is a play style or a server for you on DayZ right now. So it all just takes the right PR moves, and I think since Adam has taken over, I think he's done an incredible job on everything that he has touched.
The guy who doesn't even play the game, if you listen to half the people on Twitter and the feedback tracker, the devs even play the game.
Even though he's twitch.tv/Namalsk Survivor and plays quite often, actually. But anyway, I mean, we don't need to go there. But the point is that Adam has done a sensational job since he's taken over, man. And I'm so happy that it was him, because he's one of the OGs on the DayZ. Yeah. He's like the only OG DayZ dev that's left. So it was really, really appropriate that he was able to take over.
There we go. I've just put up, shared the screen. The player count all time. You've got that big
24-hour peak, 49,000 people. That's incredible.
57,000 is the most that we've gotten to in October by the look of it, which is just off the all-time peak, which was back here in May, March, April, May. Sorry, but it's people say that the dev team don't know what they're doing, and that's an insult. Yes, there are genuine issues that leave us scratching our heads, going like, why haven't they fixed the ADS bug? Why are cars still bouncing around even after this update? I was just on a server yesterday and I was still bouncing around in a car. But overall, if you do not believe that DayZ is in a better state than it was when it first came out, than it was even in Arma 2 days, you need to get your fucking head read.
Some people are just so damn stubborn. They just have to find something negative to dwell on, or like have to create it on their own because they can't find it. It's just the way the world rotates, man. It is what it is.
Hey, there's our boy Archie in chat. Julian, where's your whiskey glass, bud? Is he talking to you?
Is he talking to me? Where's my whiskey glass? I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. You know that. Well, I don't know who that is, but they should know that. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
Mike was just saying in chat there, we're talking about Lottie before, that she's an extremely good PvPer. There was a week on our Eska server where she just fucked the entire server all day, couldn't be stopped.
Lottie is very underrated. She generates the viewers, don't get me wrong. She should have more, but she is incredible at PvP. And she doesn't give herself credit, actually, sometimes, too. She often beats herself up. But every time I run into her, me and Lottie always laugh real hard. I love running into Lottie. I honestly, that's one person I wish I played with more, to be honest with you. I don't like Mike, though. Mike Doherty, God, that guy's fucking annoying.
Can you understand him?
No, I can't understand what the fuck he's saying.
Speak something.
Fucking like did in a fucking undershow, you know. You do my enemy. You do my fucking enemy. What? No, I love Mike. Everyone knows that.
So do
Mike and I go way back.
But this is the beauty of the podcast community, mate. We love to take the piss out of each other. and nearly everyone's got a good sense of humor. Like poor old Dancer Jesus, mate. The crap he gets for being French from everyone. Any chance we've got to put up a surrender monkey tweet or image or something like that about the French, it gets posted in there, and he accepts it and he gives it back. It's just brilliant. There's no hard feelings. No one's malicious. It's all just taking the piss out of each other. Like what they did to me with the PvP debate. They knew I was going to probably take the piss out of them for being COD fanboy wannabe Daisy PvPers. And then they went and found that fucking clip of me and just how bad I am at PvP. And I loved it. It was brilliant. It was a great roast.
That clip was horrendous.
It's sad.
I don't think I've seen worse than that. I'll be honest, buddy. I think you definitely need to practice. That was pretty bad. That's pretty bad. That's saying something. Holy shit. That's terrible. That's terrible. I promise you. Holy fuck! I thought you were like partially blind watching that. Good lord! Oh my god! Oh shit! Did you ever adjust? Did you ever adjust your sensitivity after that? They kind of like tried to walk you through that.
Oh god! Oh yeah, Mike did. I'm getting a bit better, mate. But yeah, it was. The worst part is I never used to be this bad, mate. I never did. It's something that's maybe I've just played too much survival, going around lighting fires and stuff. And but it's a terrible clip, but I love it for the same thing. I love it because that's DayZ.
You're not the only one, man. Like, and I know I talked to a couple of people that are OGs like myself, man. Like, I got worse when they changed the engine.
Yep.
I was very, very good at this game, like one of the best, and I could say that confidently. I could go back and watch my clips from 0.62 and before, and I would just shred people, groups of 4 and 5, and then once they changed that engine, I have never played the same since. It is like, fuck, I'm still trying to constantly compete with myself and how I used to be and try to get better. I make so many mistakes in PvP, and like, I see things coming. I see them coming before they even do it, and I call it out every time, and I know it's coming, and I still get wrecked. It's rough. Yeah. It's real rough.
Yeah.
Especially when I play Karma Crew, because my ping is so damn high, I can't compete with those guys on Karma Crew.
Man, have you seen Dude Thor's clip where he snipes the guy?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Oh my god, he snipes the guy in the car on Karma Crew, and that guy had 300 ping in Australia playing that server. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's probably the nuttiest Daisy shot I think I've seen, actually. Actually, Blink Tactics has an 800-meter headshot on the Mulsk on his Twitter that's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm surprised that clip didn't blow up like it did, but he's talking and he's like, I don't know, what do you guys think that is, Chad? 800 meters? And he just aims it up perfect, and this guy's walking to a fire and just dead. Just incredible shot. Oh my god.
I want the crossbow back for that reason as well. That had some amazing...
if you play Day Zero or Zero servers, there are crossbows on there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but no one seems to get them done right. Reload animations, it's usually like an MP5 sound, and without the custom animation as well, it's disappointing. I was playing on a server that had you could craft an improvised bow, and then you load it and it sounds like an MP5, and it's like it ruins my immersion. It really ruins my immersion.
I'm pretty sure it's like that on like every server. It's the MP5 mag sound. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think it has a lot to do with the engine. Why that crossbow and the bow was removed.
Yeah.
Once they redid the engine, I mean, they removed a lot of weapons and reintroduced them, years later.
Even the fact, one of the, like we were talking before, the dev team are amazing and they're doing amazing shit. Even if it doesn't come out quite right, I know a lot of people are unhappy with this inertia that they've just added, but I like the principle behind it, and I've pretty much gotten used to it. But there's some things that the speed loaders, that's an important part of the game. When you've got weapons like the SKS and the Mosin, in particular, there's also bloody lads Red 9 that he's always on about. But
I want the Red 9 back.
the
The
fact
revolver had cartridges as well.
the fact that we don't have it back yet is it's frustrating. It really is frustrating. The SKS
Yeah,
is
I
kind
mean,
of ruined as a decent mid-tier rifle because of the fact that it doesn't have a speed loader. The Mosin is not so bad because that's you don't use that really for close quarters unless you're Tope, who uses it like it's a bloody pistol. But the SKS, if you have a choice between an SKS and an M16, you got to take the M16 almost any day because it's got the mag reload and the bigger mag capacity. The SKS it's hurting the SKS's reputation not having the speed loader, mate.
yeah, I think the stripper clip was super, super important to have for the SKS. I was just thinking about that the other day, coincidentally. The revolver had a speed loader. The Red 9 had little 10-round stripper clips as well. I missed the Red 9. The Red 9 was one of my favorite guns in the game, and they just removed it. And I understand why. Like, they had to rework everything. But
Mm-hmm.
fuck, man, it's been years, dude. Add that stuff back. We
Yeah,
want it back. We really do.
yeah. I it's something that I talk about a bit, and I've talked about it on the podcast a bit. But BI really leave me scratching my head at times, mate. Daisy, you talked about it before. That Daisy doesn't get enough credit for what it is, what it's done to the gaming industry. It basically created a whole genre. The battle royale genre was formed from DayZ. PUBG was formed from player unknown watching Survivor games and realizing that he could do it better in a way, and it's just created this whole genre of battle royale games. And a bigger map battle royale games. We always had Call of Duty multiplayer and things like that, but they were always small little maps. Then all of a sudden, DayZ does this massive map, and these people running around, tens of square kilometers, and it's just been made brilliant. But it's always felt like they've just kind of limped the team along. Always giving it the bare minimum it needs just to keep on going, keep on making money for them. And I wonder, mate, what it could have been if they'd given it a serious team with the resources to, a lot of this stuff we should have had back by now. This is no disrespect to the DayZ dev team. They're working with what they've got and what they can do, but there's so much still missing from what we lost when it went from 2 to 0.63.
Yeah, there definitely has been. We're still missing a lot of stuff. I know we're not the only ones that are missing some of the old tier weapons. So definitely, I mean, I would like to see the stripper clips. It is a big part of the game, and it played into a big part of the way I played. The first two guns I found when I started playing DayZ were the SKS and the revolver,
Mm-hmm.
and I used those religiously. Being able to have those stripper clips, I would use them more often. But I have to often overlook them because they're just not as effective in combat as the FAMAS is, or the M16, or the M4. I try to stay away from the M4 actually, to be honest, because I feel like it's meta easy. It's just real easy to kill people with that thing. I like some sort of challenge if I can, but the bolt action rifles are fun. But the SKS was like near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And the stripper clips, finding a stripper clip that was 0 of 10 at a chopper gave me a goal to go find ammo.
Yeah.
I had the gun and the stripper. Let me go find ammo, and then I'll be able to load a couple of times, and it's going to be
Yep.
good. Yeah, I would agree. I would think that it would be found more if people utilized it, or if they added it, it would be utilized more. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Because it's a good all-round bloody rifle, that SKS. It's so underrated. And for those of us who played back when Standalone was first released, it was a damn good gun to get yourself an SKS, have, maybe 3 or 4 speed loaders. It made sense. Without a speed loader, it's really hampering hampering the ability to use it effectively, especially when you're going up against people who've got M16s, which is the same tier weapon with a very similar damage. Just what's the point other than because you like it?
Yeah, I mean, but there are a lot of things that they've added since they've taken those things away that have made people, they're forced to learn these really inventive ways to kill people.
Mm.
Um, one of the biggest controversial things I think they did was change the melee system in this game. And since they have done that, people have found really inventive ways to stun lock very geared players
Yes.
and take all of their stuff. They can do it with just about anything. They can do it with their bare hands. They don't need anything, and they know they've like got it down to a T. Techley being one of them. If you've ever watched Techley is a
Yep.
master of his hands. He just beats the shit out of everyone and takes all their stuff. It's just ridiculous.
You watch the good PvPers, Minder and Toprek spring to mind straight away. Toprek especially. He just did that video where he was talking about his thoughts on the chest plates and things like that. But I see Minder do it all the time with just one simple melee strike of a weapon, and it just stuns the crap out of the other player, and then they just finish him with one shot from the shotgun that they butt stroked him with and things like that. I have trouble even remembering what the weapon melee strike button is. It's F, but in the moment, because I don't use it a lot, I always forget, and it is so overpowered that get up close to them, melee strike them, they backwards, and then you just blast them because it's that quick.
Yeah, Taupe is really good at that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see Taupe.
I just gotta
If you
quickly
watch
pee, I'll be back
memorable
in a sec.
moments, yeah, you're good. Well, I guess I'll keep talking by myself. That's awkward. Okay, guys, I fucking can't stand Boydie. I'm so glad he left. Honestly, dude, Jesus Christ. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck yeah, Taupe. If you guys watch memorable moments, Taupe is like a master of that. He'll do it with the chambered Makarov. He'll do it with the fresh bones left and right. He'll do it with his damn eyes closed. He'll hit him with the butt of his Makarov, hit him right in the head, and then just line up a perfect headshot and kill him in one round. It's just insane. It's insane. I don't know if I should just like what I should do to fill the void here. Tiptoe to the tulips by the window. That's where I'll be. So tiptoe to the tulips with me.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
There we go. Ah, he's muted. Did you mute yourself then, did you?
I'm just using push to talk.
Ah, okay, yep. Yep. Yeah, no, it's question for you though. Bayonets. Do you use it? Do you use them?
That's not a question. That's that's a word. What, do I use them?
Do you use them on the rifles?
So what I actually like to do is if I have a Mosin or an SKS and I don't have a belt, I'll equip a bayonet to my rifle tip, and I won't because I don't have a knife, or I'll drop a knife out of my inventory to carry more slots, and I'll use the bayonet to cut rags. I don't use the power attack that often because I very seldomly have the two combined. So it's just not really. It's a nice thing to have, but it's not often usable, unfortunately, because you just never have the two together.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to maybe look at the bayonets because not a lot of people use them, and it's an awkward animation that doesn't really endear itself to players wanting to have the weapon, have the bayonet fitted. You know, one, like if you've got a Mosin on your shoulder and you stick a bayonet on that, it's bad enough putting a improvised suppressor on it because it just sticks up like an antenna. You stick the Mosin bayonet on and it's just insane. But it definitely, I think there is something they could do with the whole bayonet, make it a lot more deadly than it is. You know, something that it's worthwhile, having one on you. And if you see someone rushing you, stick it on, because if they do get too close,
especially now with inertia.
Yeah.
Inertia makes it way harder to zigzag and run at people now. You almost can't do it. It's almost non-existent
What
for
are
the
your
most part.
thoughts on the inertia change?
I think it's going to be good for the longevity of the game. I think
Yep.
it is good. I think. Well, I don't know if they followed in Tarkov's footsteps, but Tarkov just recently did it as well, and it was very controversial. That a lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people liked it. But it's been overall more beneficial for that game, and I think it will be here too. It's
Mm-hmm.
just going to take a lot of getting used to. I'm still not used to it, so as of right now, I don't like it. But it's because I'm not used to it. That's the only reason why. But I do think it will be good for the game. Absolutely.
Mike's got a good point there. You should be able to sprint and click once to basically do a bayonet stab, because yeah, it is a easy to use weapon for we had the old drill butt stroke smash slash for when you had the bayonet on your weapon. Yeah, definitely something to look at. Duct tape a pitchfork to a Mo's an easy one tap.
Can you imagine how long that would be? Oh my god.
I don't like the pitchfork. I find it an awkward melee weapon to use. I know it's powerful, but I don't like using it.
I like it. It's funny. It's funny
Yeah.
to use it. Oh yeah, I use it. Oh yeah, I do a country accent. Get off my land when I use it because it's so goofy looking. It's great, man. I love it.
So what have you got planned for the future, mate? What was the reception to your DayZ movie?
Oh man, it's been rough. It's been
Yeah.
rough, man. You know what? Yeah, it's been rough. Honestly, like I think I still have a lot to learn when it comes to in terms of YouTube. I paid a thumbnail artist for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of picked
Can I
people.
ask how much that cost?
Oh, it wasn't expensive. I paid $19.75 for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's more that's fair. That's fair for a thumbnail. I went to every artist that's established in the community and outside of the community, and they went from $125 up to $80 or $60 a piece for a thumbnail, which is
180.
125.
125 US dollars.
125 US dollars.
Damn.
And if you think about it, if you're generating videos on a bi-weekly or weekly basis or 2 times a week, that cost adds up. Now, I'm not saying that those artists don't deserve that sort of money. They definitely do because they do incredible work. It's just I don't know how people afford that. I can't
No.
afford that. So,
No.
but I got a really good thumbnail from Uncupa, which I credited.
I don't make $125 on the podcast channel a month, mate.
That's what I'm saying.
We average about $100 US between super chats, members, and ad revenue. I don't. That's why I've never done it. It's just I can't justify the cost. I just do my own slap dab, half-assed Canva, which is a great fucking program if you're not good with Photoshop, by the way. It is. I could do it on my fucking iPad. It is that user friendly that even a boomer like me. So if you need to know about it, hit me up and I'll send you a link to Canva. Probably send you a referral link, but yeah. If thumbnails are so important though, mate, aren't they?
They are. They are. My YouTube videos have never been wildly successful. I've had a few that the dev team have mentioned me in the I can't like the community spotlight they've done.
Yep.
I've done 3 movies and 2 of them have been mentioned in the community spotlight so far. This one I just came out with, so it's not to say that it won't. It might be mentioned. But no, it's been tough, man. YouTube is really hard. It's not something that I've ever really been able to like quite figure out. I have all the tools, I have the imagination to put a really good story together, and I have the brains around me, Minder, Tope, Project Red Tie, who are all my close friends to like pick their brains on things. JLK has helped me a ton. I even credit him in that video too because he like reached out to me and DM'd me and taught me how to do this and that and this and that and like gave me tips, which has been unbelievable. But I think I don't know. I was just over 300 something views for a 2-hour video. And I did the best that I could, Boydie, in trying to make it an actual movie and not just gameplay. Like, usually you'll see videos, they're titled movie, but they're really just long DayZ videos, right? Like, I did cinematics, I did credits, I did
long form videos, like even these podcasts. They really struggle in today's society, with shorter attention spans and TikTok, sort of stuff being the most popular. You've got to be doing, and that, it's a credit to JLK. how huge his videos are with how long they are, when the norm is, usually 10 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes, you're starting to stretch it, whether someone's going to spend 20 minutes of their life watching a video you made. And yet JLK can upload a video and gets hundreds of thousands of views in a week. It's not an easy thing. And I've got to take my hat off to you for trying it, mate. It's scary. It's scary doing, because how many hours do you reckon you put into that movie?
Oh, a lot. If you count stream hours and you count while I was at work on break, downtime, I have an editing laptop. I was working on it there. Um, God, I don't even know. I don't know, Boyd. It took me close to 8 weeks to get that video done, if you count gameplay. And I tried to not over edit it too much, because I wanted people to take in the story. I even wrote my own lore and script for this movie before I even started the movie, and then I baselined the video and the footage off of the script that I wrote for it. So I wanted people to get invested in the story and to fall in love with the characters and the idea that they were going into this thing that they had no idea about, and it was life or death at any moment. And it didn't take off. But first of all, a lot of people don't even know I'm back. Second of all, a lot of people don't even know I have a YouTube channel, even though I've been around. So, I'm still learning, and that's what I got to chalk it up to. So it is what it is.
It's funny that it's weird. You've just been on a topic. By the way, that is a great thumbnail. I've got to say that is a really cool thumbnail. The evil monster in the background there, and absolutely love it. But just because you're big on one platform does not mean you're going to be big on both. Like if I bring up Smoke, look, he's got 84,700 subscribers. That's an impressive number. But let's go. Okay, 610,000 subscribers. Running Man Z, 361,000 subscribers. It's such a weird game, and they're both, despite the fact that essentially you're still just making content, they're both so fucking different, and to be successful on both is very difficult, isn't it, mate?
Oh yeah, it's really hard. And you know what? Honestly, Boyd, one of the things that I regret most is I allowed. Well, I'm human at the end of the day. Like I got hurt. I got hurt real bad, and it is what it is. I got so wrapped up in that, and like shortly after I got partnered, my slow decline. Like when I got partnered, I was averaging 800 subscribers a month, and I was averaging around 140 viewers and 800 subscribers a month. Like I was living the dream. Like, and I couldn't be more. I enjoyed it when I had 10 viewers, and when I had 20 viewers, and so on and so forth. I was astounded. A lot of the time, and let's talk about this for a second, not just for my sake, but like for streamers out there that are smaller. That if you guys gotta understand, put it in perspective of a physical person. A lot of people in streaming, they beat themselves up for 5 viewers or 10 viewers. You got to understand, 5 viewers, that's a minivan full of people.
Yeah.
That's 10 people is 2 cars or a quarter of a classroom. 30 people is an entire classroom. 50 to 60 people is half of an auditorium, depending on where you're at. I mean, my God, that's a lot of people. So if you're generating a certain amount of bodies in your stream, my God, don't beat yourself up. It is so frustrating to see that.
There are 12 people right now, mate, that are prepared to sit here and listen to 2 or 1 ugly guy and 1 sexy guy. You guys go figure who's the sexy guy and who's the ugly guy. But there are 12 people who have taken the time to come in and listen to us talk about so many different things. And that's fucking awesome. That is brilliant. I look at things like I recently made a change to the way I manage my personal Twitter account. If someone follows me and they're not a fucking bot account or something like that, I'm going to chuck them a follow back, because if they think I'm interesting enough to follow, maybe they just follow me because of the drama train that is Boydie on Twitter. But I'm going to follow them back, and I'm so glad I've done that, because my Twitter feed has just gotten so much more interesting with stuff that is completely irrelevant to just AZ. Yes, that's primarily what I talk about on Twitter, but I'm learning so much more just from increasing the, like you said, mate, if these people are watching you, even if it's only 3 or 4, that's something you should treasure. That 3 or 4 people find you interesting enough to hang around and watch you regularly. Don't let it get in your head. The numbers can be a fucking killer.
Yeah, and the numbers could be gone like that. So you really just have to find enjoyment and treasure when you do have just a few people. Because I mean, if you think about it, at the end of the day, that's a few people that could be doing something else. You could be sitting at 0, right?
Dude,
And like a lot of
you
people
should
just
have the
don't
YouTube
fucking
chat up
understand it.
now. You should have the YouTube chat up. Killbeans, Boydie Defo, the sexy guy with them new teeth. The dude Thor, hashtag would bang Boydie, hashtag would lick rage moustache.
Fuck.
Oh man, I love this community. I really, really do. It's just but don't be hard on yourselves, folks. I've been doing YouTube since I think 2015, and I basically reinvented myself. Changed my channel was originally Boydie73, and like a lot of people, I had a dream of maybe being a big YouTube DayZ content creator. Didn't happen. I had people who were interested in it, but I was never big. It was like, what? And then I sat down and I thought about it. What do people really like about what I do? And it's generally they like the fact that I talk. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people wish I would just shut the fuck up, but I found that was my forte. So I switched directions. I rebranded it, started the DayZ podcast, the Spotlight series of interviews, which was the first thing I did, and yeah, it's worked. It's not. I'm not going to be the next JLK, but I found a format that works for me. I found people who like it. I found people who want to work with me on what we're doing with the community. So just because something didn't work doesn't mean it's not going to. What the?
I was gonna say your
My camera.
camera's gone, dude.
What is going on? Give me a sec. Okay, so there's something going wrong with my Elgato face cam, by the look of it.
Are you using a cam link?
Okay, it's working on in the camera hub.
Are you using a cam link?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I found cam link has a lot of issues. Like I have a really nice camera that I use on my streaming PC that I don't have set up right now, but a lot of the times I have to deactivate and activate it or unplug it and plug it back in. So it's definitely not just you. It's definitely an issue with the equipment.
Nope, no, that's the wrong button. Here we go. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I've got something virtual cam which I need to look into a bit more. It's something through NVIDIA and Elgato working together or whatever. But yeah, we'll get there eventually. But yeah, no, pro stream. Yeah, it wouldn't be a Boydie stream if something didn't go wrong, mate. That's just
Happens to the best of us, man. It is what it is.
It definitely happens to the worst of us, which is me. But yeah, no, it's people have just got to be a bit more less hard on themselves. It's easy to beat yourself up when you see other people killing it, but it's also at the end of the day you've just got to realize that maybe this isn't the thing for you. Because it's a terrible fucking job. When you look at it, once you reach a certain level, it becomes better. But you could be cancelled. You can just become irrelevant, and you're still doing everything the same. But something else has come up. People are fickle. There'll always be some who are loyal and will stick with you thick or thin. But most people just flitter between They ride whatever the latest hype train is, something that's become the meta or whatever. And yeah.
Yeah, it is harder now than it has ever been, and it will be increasingly as time goes on, even harder and harder and harder to do full-time content creation, um, because there are a sea of millions of people that are doing it, and every year that number climbs even higher.
Yep.
So it is very, very hard to maintain being entertaining, maintain your niche that you used to be able to acquire people's attention, and constantly evolve to compete with other people that are doing the same thing you're doing, if not better, or doing something different than you're not doing, and they do a really good job of it. So it's one of the hardest things you can ever do. And honestly, I have not been. It's crazy because I've been near the top, with some of the biggest names in this section. It is so devastating to your mental health to be
Yes.
up there
Yes.
because you're constantly worried about money. You're constantly worried about, am I going to lose it all overnight one day? You're constantly worried about, am I going to be able to pay this bill? I think it's really, really important. And now it's become more mainstream, thankfully, that people have multi platforms or they
Yes.
have multi forms of income. And that is working a full time job while still content creating because it is so essential for your mental health and for your success in this profession.
Yep.
I promise you, if you want to do this full time and you're listening to this, believe me, you can have all the subs in the world. You could have 1 million subscribers and make a shitload of income. But it is so very important for you to get out and do something else, even if you're not making money, while you're doing it so that you can maintain that energy level that you had that got you popular in the first place. 100%.
I wonder, honestly, how some of them do it full time, mate. I wonder how often the likes of Paul and Smoke and that get to play video games when they're not actually streaming, when they're not actually making more content. Everyone thinks it's the dream to be able to do something you love for a job, but I'm glad that this is a pet project for me. We're being more serious about it now because we want to start getting some revenue coming in, so we can do more. I don't know whether you saw the Christmas show last year, how much stuff we gave away. We're doing it again this year. We've got a bunch of prizes, some really fucking cool shit, man. Like people, I put a post up. People are going to be like, well, they're giving this stuff away. They're not keeping it for themselves. Nah, man, that's not what we want to do. Like I talked about earlier, it's nice to be able to do good things. And I get to do something that I really enjoy doing, which is sitting down with people like yourself who are absolutely fascinating and talk about it. But it's so important what you said to diversify, and we're looking at that ourselves. We've got 2 shows now. We've got the Daisy podcast. We've got the Spotlight series of interviews. I'm looking at more ideas for stuff that we can do to, keep the channel fresh and pumping and give people more bang for their buck when they do bother to become a member. The fact that people in this channel decide that they're going to click that member button and give me, $5, $6, $7 or whatever that they choose to give, or the Patreon, that's such a fucking honor, isn't it, mate?
Oh, absolutely. It's a blessing to make any sort of money in this. Absolutely. I mean, you're talking to the guy like literally. I'm pretty sure the first donation I got, I cried because I was so like dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Of course, that was like 8 or 9 years ago when I started streaming, but yeah, it's really special to be able to do this and to be able to get any sort of support at all is incredible.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to ask, mate. It was disappointing last year, and I'm just not going to ask again this year, mate. But I can't thank you enough for doing what you did last year with the show. But yeah, definitely diversify, folks. Get a look at what else is out there, and promote yourself. Twitch especially is really bad at promoting you. But we've always known that. It's a weakness of the Twitch platform. So it's up to you to be getting out there and promoting yourself on Twitter, on YouTube, on Reddit. As horrible as a place as Reddit can be at times, I still think Reddit's better than Twitter. But you've got to be out there promoting yourself. Look at networking. Get to know who's who in the zoo. Find people that you can bounce off. Like, if you haven't yet, you need to go and watch when Archie and Killbeans are streaming together. It's fucking hilarious. Just the synergy that's there. Don't just stream with someone because you think it's going to get you clout. Try to find people that you genuinely enjoy being around. And again, that was one of the great things of you guys on the Karma Crew. Even towards the end there was such a good energy. And when that's happening, people want to hang around. They like being part of that energy. Whether it's you're taking the piss out of each other, or you just work so well. Like you said, Deadly Slob before. I used to love watching Deadly Slob and Ace's Fury play. Those two were just an insane combo. Deadly, absolutely deadly when them two were running around together.
I haven't heard that name in a long time, Ace's Fury.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, he's gone through it over the years. He had some real personal struggles, and
very
I
sad.
don't know if he creates anymore. But he's a good dude. He's a good dude. And I also really enjoyed watching the two of them. Deadly was actually Snafty was the first DayZ streamer I ever watched, and a lot of people don't know who that is.
No,
They
I know
haven't been
Snafty.
around long enough. I know you do, but a lot of people who hear that probably have no idea who the hell I'm talking about.
Yep.
Snafty was a legend. Snafty and Deadly Slob was one of the first streams I ever watched, and that was somebody that I also enjoyed. Deadly Slob, Potato. I actually am friends with Potato now. Used to play on Fridays with him and a few other people.
Yep.
Tased and Confused, who streams Sea of Thieves now. But yeah, there's been so many people that have come through this section. It's actually mind blowing to think about. It's wild. Wow.
That's a big thing, is you've got to get out there and you've got to get involved in the community. And not just like I truly believe one of the things that helped the Running Man get as big as he did was his sub play streams. That was just a brilliant idea. I'm certain he probably wasn't the first person to do it. And I know he stopped it now, which kind of makes me sad. But I loved the fact that, once a week or once a fortnight or whatever, he would have that stream where a random sub, and God, it was hard for him. Like, I remember watching some of them. He'd get people who didn't know the map, and, there was always the problem of trying to meet up and that. But that was just a brilliant move. It's a bit of a potluck thing because you never know what the person's going to be like. They could be a complete and utter social reject, for want of a better word. But it was brilliant. Like, I loved his sub play streams. It really got to helped him build his community.
Why did he go away from that? Do you know? Was it just too much? Or
I think it was just getting too hard to organize. It was kind of sad, but definitely something that other streamers should look at, because you get it all the time. But if you set it up right, you do it through channel points or something like that. The people who watch you the most, they're going to be the ones most likely to win, and that's the way it should be. The bigger supporters of you have the better chance of being the person to get to play with you. But yeah. Dude, Thor saying he misses being part of the Karma Crew as well.
Oh yeah, I've talked to Thor a little bit about this. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad that it had to go.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I understand it why, but yeah, it's really sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really, really is, mate. It really, really is. So, what else have you got planned for the future, mate?
As far as I know right now, I mean, I do have some projects in the works that I'm kind of like hush hush about. Something that really big that I'm really passionate about. That I'm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to give any hints away because then I'll just give it away completely. But I am working on something really big that I've talked to some bigger names about, and they are on board with that. So I'm going to be doing that. Other than that, I'm really just more focused on being here. I want to focus on, making my live streams better. I spent 4 hours today, 4 or 5 hours working on royalty-free music playlist for my stream and completely redoing the whole thing from the ground up. And I'm also going to be doing some other things as far as YouTube videos go. I want to do more movies. I probably will make them a little bit shorter depending on what they are. And I want to obviously get better at that. So I'm messing around with DayZ Editor.
Did you just say you're twerking?
I did not. I said tweaking.
Okay, it sounded like twerking to me.
I said twerking, but I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Anyway, but yeah, I'm working on stuff. I just want to be a better creator.
Subliminal message, twerking streams in a
No,
hot tub coming
not at
soon to
all.
DudeIRage.
No, not from this guy.
Did you
Come on.
when I sent you through the thumbnail with your lovely cheeky face on the figure, did you see the message I sent you about check the video description as well?
I don't think so. By the way, do you know where? Did you get that from Google Images?
Yep.
Do you know what the fuck? Do you know what the history is behind that?
No.
So the very first time that would have been October of 2019. I hit, or no, it was 2019. It was 2019 or 2018. I hit 700 subscribers on my channel,
Yep.
and the sub goal was to completely shave my face and then eat the one chip challenge on stream after I
think I
shaved
remember
my
that.
beard.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And then I had the chocolate milk. That was one. That's what that's from.
There you go. There you go. It's amazing what you can find on the internet. But did you actually go and look at the video description?
I'm looking at it like, is it right now? Like the live stream?
The video that we're at now. Just pay close attention. Now, I posted in the Discord chat where we're doing more to give away, and we are giving people things like Discord points that they can use for giveaways in the channel, and it also gets some access to the supporters section.
I see what you did. All right, come on. Whatever, dude. I don't have an OnlyFans. Fuck's sake. God damn it.
Come on, read out the channel. Read out the channel. Do name.
Oh, fucking. Oh, let's see what the whole thing is. Is it just big and thick? Big and thick boy. Oh my god. Guys, I don't have an OnlyFans. I promise you. I don't have an OnlyFans. That has been a topic.
You know what would make me laugh? If that was actually a link to someone's actual real... I don't even know if that's the correct way to write an OnlyFans thing.
I clicked on it. We're good. We're good. It's not a real person, but for fuck's sake. Oh, that has been a topic of discussion based on my previous Twitter activity many times in my stream. I just want to point that out. I've got people that actually wanted me to, like, I'm not kidding, like cougars have come at me and asked me to do some things. And I'm...
Wow. Killbeans is saying, take my money, mate.
Oh, fuck out of here, dude. I will never, ever, ever. Oh,
look, you
Lord.
were just talking about twerking. That's what made me remember that I'd put that in there. So for those who were wondering, that was the secret Easter egg that if you'd found it, you would have got yourself some Discord channel points. But yeah, we're trying to do things like that just to make things a bit more fun and engaging in the community, mate. Because yeah, I hid that in there and I sent that link through to you in the little tee.
It's a nice little trick, dude. It's a nice little trick. I like it.
Oh, look, it's something funny. It's harmless, and yeah, Daisy Cougar's out of control, eh? Oh, yeah. That'd be a good Daisy movie.
Oh, God.
Chicken wow wow.
Yeah, let me tell you, dude. People are so fucking wild.
And I love it, mate. I love it. All in good humor, mate. All in good humor. Dude, I want to say thank you, mate. You're an absolutely fascinating guy. You're one of the good guys of the community as well, mate. You know, other than your Twitter likes in the past, you've never really done anything to upset people that I'm aware of, mate. So, yeah, we need more people like you, less people like me, more people like you out there doing good things, just helping the community, giving people advice and tips. You know, give him a follow on Twitter, folks. He's a good bloke. You know. He posts a lot of positive stuff, and yeah.
I appreciate you saying that, man.
Are you doing Kings of the Castle?
No. I don't partake in the events anymore. I don't partake in any of the events. I would have liked to have been involved in Queens of the Castle as far as commentating goes, though.
Yep.
I will say that. But I might have something in the works.
Good. We need someone said it there in chat. I think it was the Dude Thor. It's important that content creators remember to give back. you know, everyone talks about trying to create a community and, family and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But actions speak louder than words. It's one of the things, one of my favorite guys at the moment is Happy Bombs. That guy just does so much from running his servers, his stream quality. He's such a professional. I love just going in and watching his stream start. The way he's got it with the blurred screen, you can see him working and getting ready to start the stream and talking to people while he's doing things. And then these events that he puts on, True Colors and his survival events and that. It's just, that's, if you want to look at someone to look up to, that's a guy who is the sort of the gold standard for how to create a community, and he's gonna get big. He's gonna be a big person in the community. He kind of already is, but he's gonna get a lot bigger because he's doing it right, in my opinion.
Happy's a very, very fascinating content creator.
Yeah.
You learn a lot from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, stay safe in your job, mate.
Oh, every day, man. I don't get complacent. Believe me, I'm checking corners all the time. I'm always watching people. That's my job. That's what I have to do. So believe me, at the end of the day, I want to make it back here to you guys. So every day.
We want you back, mate. We're so glad to have you back. And as you said before, the DayZ community, despite what some people try to tell us about it, is one of the best communities. Echo got to see it recently when she came back to playing DayZ, and she even commented just how wonderful everyone's been, how accepting. She slid right back into the DayZ community like she'd never left, to doing other stuff and that. And it's there's something to be said for those who stuck by the game all this time, but I don't hold it against people who went off and did other stuff. When it was down to 3,000 active players, there wasn't a lot of people watching DayZ content. So people had to do what they had to do to keep on getting those bills paid, especially if they did it for a living.
Yeah, Echo's an OG. She was around the section when I first started watching Twitch, actually.
Yep. Her, Jam Jar, Mr. Moon,
Echo's OG.
Mr. Blackout.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I miss those days.
So do I.
Oh, God. I could go for a Mr. Blackout robbery in a barn near Solnichny with a Moe's and iron sight.
I still love going in and watching that guy stream. He's such a good streamer.
Mr. B.
Yeah.
I actually had a couple opportunities to play with him since I started playing with Travis, aka Potato.
Yep.
Super nice dude.
Yep, loyal patriot, Katie Wolf, just such a, sort of like they were kind of like the OG boys, for want of a better word, of the game. They had this little tight-knit community of the few of them, and it wasn't really that tight-knit. They played with a lot of other people, but it was great to watch them with their content. They always were popping up in each other's videos. Mr. Moon, just so good.
What's his name? KD Wolf has actually recently come back too.
Yeah, I've interviewed Katie Wolf not that long ago. I think we had him on the podcast. Have you seen how jacked that guy is now?
He lost all the fat boy. It's all gone, dude. He lost all that thick boy weight. It's all gone. He looks good.
And they're just such inspirational people, man. Loyal patriot. You need to follow that guy on Twitter. He's living the dream, man. That property of his, I would be so fat if I lived with him, man. The food that guy eats, his barbecue skills are beyond compare.
Do you see how big he is?
Yeah.
He's like 6'5".
Yeah.
He's like a big boy.
He is. Yep. Yeah. No. Awesome. Absolutely love him. Loyal still plays DayZ sometimes. He streams. Doesn't stream a lot. He's more of a casual streamer, but he still streams a fair bit. And Mr. Moon still plays from time to time. I know Mr. Moon just played Scum recently and quite enjoyed the effects of mushrooms in the game. Deep in Red Dead Redemption 2 online. He was deep in Grand Theft Auto online. All these guys are still around in some way, shape or form, but they just, they've moved on. They're doing other stuff. I don't know whether we'll ever get Jam Jar back playing DayZ, man.
Oh God, what is Jam Jar plays a lot of GTA now, doesn't he?
GTA roleplay. He's right into it.
But I don't want to bring up anything bad, but like Jam Jar had like a really toxic exit from the Daisy community. I
You
don't know if
did.
you remember this.
I do.
It was like it was bad. Like there were several streamers involved, and like the server shut down because of that. The red zone, for those of you who
Yep.
don't know, and I think that's why I don't know if he'll. I don't know if he'll come back.
Yeah.
Just based on that, I mean, he would have to. I mean,
Bad
he
energy.
could
It's got a
probably
lot of
come
bad
back.
energy for him.
He could probably come back now and have no issue because it's been so long. But there's going to be people that remember what happened for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah. But we do, as much as people think differently, we do try to avoid the drama. We won't go into it. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If you really want to know, just start searching. You'll find shit somewhere, some deep, dark corner of the internet. I recommend starting with www.onlyfans.com. Big and thick boy.
Don't start there. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Mate, I take it as an honour that you agreed to do this with me, mate. I've been a fan of yours for quite some time. You're a good lad. You're down to earth, pretty straight up. Good old boy.
That's what they call us at work, the good old boys.
Yep.
No, I was happy to do it, man. I've been a fan of yours as well. I like that you bring things up. I like that you poke the bear. There aren't enough people to do that. And when you've been around this section as long as we both have, I think it's good.
I think I've gotten better over time. You know, I don't think I handled stuff correctly back in the day. My intentions were always I was trying to be good and just asking questions that I felt needed answers. You know, sometimes maybe I poked the wrong bear. I poked a bear that shouldn't have been poked. But I just like to ask questions and give my opinion for what it's worth. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, but most of them, they're shit. They're full of shit. So it's at the end of the day, it's just my opinion.
For the record, you're nothing like Keemstar. I could go all day about that.
I actually had a good heart to heart with Aussie Road because he's a friend of mine. We get along, and I'm actually glad I did because he actually explained how a lot of people perceived me in a way that actually really made sense. I'd never really thought about it that way. You know, one of the most important things you can do, folks, is always look at yourself, evaluate yourself, try to work out whether what you're doing is having the impact you want it to do. And if it doesn't, and if it's not, you know, it could just be that you're doing it wrong. It could be, you know, in a lot of cases, it's just people getting butthurt over shit, taking things, you know, too sensitively. But yeah, you know, I learned a bit from it, and you know, I had a bit of a bad week last week, but yeah, we're here to talk about DudeIRage. I'm in a lot better space today, and reach out to people. You know, don't be afraid to vent your feelings and reach out, and you know, let people give you good, honest feedback. But that's it. You've got to learn what's good feedback and what's not, don't you, dude? You get some fucking
absolutely.
You get some shit.
But you know
people.
what, man? I find value in everything that you get. Every little bit of everything that you intake from somebody who's interacted with you is good because you can evaluate what to change, what to ignore, or what you might need to work on based on what was said to you. And also you grow a lot from that too because then you can kind of understand or try to understand that maybe that person's going through something, and maybe you just need to ask like, hey, what's going on? Like you can talk to me. I understand why you said what you said, blah blah blah. But you can grow from every situation. It's just a matter of how you perceive it in the moment.
Yep. Some people who say they don't like drama, they really do. But they just don't want people to think they do.
Not me. I fucking can't stand drama. That's why you've never seen me involved with things because I watch what I say, and but I like everybody. I do like everybody in this section.
I appreciate you, mate, because you've reached out to me a few times when you know shit's been going down around me. Unfortunately, I don't like it. But you've reached out and you've been a reassuring voice in my ear. And you know, this goes for anyone. If I ever do something and you think I went too far, fucking tell me. If you don't tell me, I'm not going to know. But you know, reach out. Don't be afraid to have an opinion on something, folks, and don't be afraid to tell people. You know, it's up to them how they take what you say. But if your intentions are pure and honest, do it.
Yep, I agree. 100% wholeheartedly.
And learn to work out what's good feedback and what's just someone trying to fucking roll you up. Because this is the internet and the majority of them fall into that latter category, don't they, buddy?
They sure do. They sure do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only DudeIRage. Where can we watch you, mate?
You can find me on Twitch and you can find me on YouTube. I'm actually live on Twitch right now. So
And OnlyFans.com, big and thick boy.
not on OnlyFans. Actually, follow me on Twitter because everything is linked there, and I tweet a lot and I interact with Twitter as well.
Yep. Dude, all the best, mate. I can't wait to see what you've got coming up in the future. You didn't give us any hints, but I'm excited to see what you've got, mate. And make sure you check him out. Give him a follow over there on Twitch, guys. It's free. Make sure you sub to his YouTube. It's free as well. Dude's only got just over 800 subs, folks. That's criminal. But yeah, it's something I've been thinking about, dude, that we need to work out a way to try to get some genuine engagement for people. It's free to hit that sub button. You can turn off notifications, but it means a lot to someone to get to. It's hard to get monetized on YouTube. A lot harder than it is to get monetized on Twitch, folks. And it's such a good one. You know, Archie referred to it as in the spotlight that I dropped this morning, the evergreen content. You know, getting that content up on YouTube and letting someone hit that monetization goal can add some good revenue to helping support some of your favorite streamers, your favorite content creators. You know, we've got Dumpgra, who's got a YouTube account as well. We just helped get Big Grandpa over the line, who does the map making stuff. So, you know, well, they've got to get 1,000 subscribers, which is free. It's not like a Twitch sub. You don't have to pay for it. And 4,000 view hours in the last 365 days. So they're not easy goals, but it means the world and can help add some financial security to some of your favorite content creators.
Yeah. I mean, that Twitter follows, Twitch follows, YouTube subs. They go a long way. They do. They really do.
Especially when you're chasing those sponsorship deals. Here's his YouTube channel, folks. Head on over, click that subscribe button right now. www.youtube.com/C/DudeIRage YT. Yankee Tango. Soon to be changed to Big and Thick Boy.
Absolutely not. But we're close to that 1,000 subscribers, so go ahead and hit that sub if you want. If you want to, you don't have to. But
no, you do. If you're watching this video, you have to. If you don't,
no, you absolutely do not. Do not listen to him. You can if you want.
If you don't, I will release a Boydie73 OnlyFans.
I will release a picture in a thong if you don't. You don't want that.
On my OnlyFans.
I don't want that. None of my OnlyFans for free, and everyone will see it.
Never change, bro. Shit. Never change. It's people like you that I love being around, mate. You're just a down to earth guy. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. No, I appreciate being here, man. You don't beat yourself up so much, man. You're great. You really are.
I just like to constantly evaluate myself. But the next guest that I have lined up is one that I think is going to interest you all. The one, the only, Foxy Girl.
Oh, no shot. Oh my God. I was going to bring her up earlier. She's the best female PvPer I have seen. She's insane. She's absolutely insane.
I'm really looking forward to it because, she's got, I'll say this, she's got the curse of being an attractive girl who uses a webcam, but doesn't make it about that. It's kind of unfortunate for her that she's pretty. And that makes a lot of people, I know, that's kind of weird, isn't it? But she doesn't want to be taken as just, eye candy on a camera. She's just a person who puts herself out there, and simps and men being men, some of them just can't get past the fact that, pretty girl on stream.
Well, she's beautiful, but she is incredible at DayZ. If you've never, listen, I've been around a long time. If you've never watched her,
go watch Queens of the Castles events. She was in one of them, and she was.
Go watch her.
Yeah,
dude, she posts clips on Twitter that my jaw drops.
Yep.
Dude, she's insane. She's absolutely insane,
and a good person to boot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, I'll be locking that one in, tying in the time, and I will release more information on that as we get closer to the interview.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. there's so I always thought I was going to run out of people to interview, but no, there's just so many people. I'm
It's
trying to do
impossible.
some stuff outside of just the DayZ community, but there's so much fucking talent in this community right now, brother.
Yeah, it's impossible to run out of DayZ. If they touch DayZ, I mean, you could do modders, you could do map
I've
creators
been doing
now,
them.
you
I've been
could
doing
do
them. Yeah.
you can do streamers, you can do YouTubers now. I mean, oh my God, don't get me started. And then now there's new platforms coming out,
Yep.
which I may have something in the works with the Gamer Network, by the way. Not that I'm joining that.
Before we go, what do you think of the Gamer Network? I've got to ask.
Okay, so I have a lot of questions. I'm also a little bit skeptical.
You're exactly like me then.
It's one thing to put out proof, and it's another thing to just say that you're going to do everything that sounds okay.
Yeah.
That's right now they're tweeting a lot of, like, I've talked to the founder in the DMs.
Benji, yep.
I have something lined up with him, but it's a lot to say all of these things.
Yes.
And then one thing to do it. So now if he says
Zero
any
proof.
one thing on
We've
that
got
Twitter,
zero proof that he could do anything he's claimed so far that I have seen.
that's exactly what I'm saying. And if he says any one thing that he's going to do and doesn't do it, he's automatically setting up his platform to look bad and fail.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it will fail because a lot of people want to be discovered on Twitch as a platform. Twitch, but that's controversial though, because in my opinion, it has always been the streamer's job to work on their discoverability. It is not up to the platform, but that's just my 2 cents. YouTube actually provides opportunities for you to do that better than other platforms. But he's saying that Gamer Network is going to make it so that you're discoverable to people that want to watch the content that you want to produce. That would be next level. And he's talking about a 70-30 split between versus Twitch's 50-50. He's also talking about
tips. 100% of tips.
He's 100% of the tips when you buy from their platform, which I don't know how you can even do that. I don't.
Now, see, I'm wondering whether that's just clever wordplay, because technically you could say that Twitch is already doing 100% of tips, because you buy the bits, but you pay a premium on top for the
you pay a premium, 15%.
So you're buying, say 1,000 bits, and to make it easy, we'll say it's $100, and you buy 1,000 bits, but you're paying $115 or $120 or whatever it is to purchase that amount of bits. But that 1,000 bits, whoever you give it to, they get 1,000 bits. They get whatever that equates to in dollars. So I'm wondering whether that's just a clever wordplay on that, but. I'm excited that someone started to generate a bit of hype because the YouTube's slowly getting there, getting better. We've gone all in on YouTube because I don't like some of the things that Twitch has done. I still like going to Twitch and watching. I still pay for Twitch Turbo, so I get an ad-free experience when I'm watching people. Don't forget that, folks. I talk about it a bit, but if you hate ads that much, yes, you could do an ad blocker, but then you're basically denying people revenue by blocking the ads from being played, and that's how they earn the money, is by the cycle of ads. You can go, and I just feel better about paying for YouTube Premium and Twitch Turbo, so that when I'm watching, I still know that even though I may not be a subscribed member on Twitch or a member on YouTube, that they're still getting some revenue from the ads that I normally would have watched, which Twitch's ads are terrible as well. Terrible. That's been the biggest thing that's hurt them. And it looks like they're slowly changing it a little bit now with this way. And I know it's causing a lot of kerfuffle with having to run ads and that, but I'm really interested in what Gamer Network is doing. He's talking a big game. It remains to be seen whether he can back up the game that he's talking. And like you said, if he falls over on anything, they're going to shit on him because he's trolling people hard on Twitter. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. But let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, he's got to really back up everything 100% of what he's saying.
6 data centers.
And I don't know what his plan with the tipping is. I know the only benefit that a streamer gets from bit donations is that it's secure. they can't get it refunded.
Yeah.
So if somebody has a malicious intent, they're not getting their money back. It's the streamers now. If the streamer wants to donate the money back through PayPal, they can do that. So really, in my mind, that's the only benefit, and there really is no real reason to buy bits. I would much rather have a PayPal donation, but you don't get the security involved in that, or a sub. I'm curious to see what he has lined up. Like you said, he's talking a whole lot on Twitter. So we're going to see, and hopefully in 2023, in the beginning of the year, I'm hoping that it releases and we get down to the nitty gritty of exactly what's behind what they're saying.
I just want to clarify something, Darkwing. Part of the reason why I do YouTube Premium and Twitch Turbo, I think it is I'm a capitalist whore at heart. And I understand the fact that both Twitch and YouTube, they're not charities. They need to make money to keep the businesses profitable. And yes, by donating directly via PayPal or something like that, you're supporting the creator that you want to create. But if everyone did that, then there'd be no money going to Twitch. And they're not going to keep on doing it for free. Even though yes, they're backed by the big evil conglomerate Amazon, they still need to make money. And it just helps me sleep a little bit better knowing that, yes, you can argue about their terrible companies and all the rest of it, but yeah, that's why I do YouTube Premium and Twitch Turbo. But yeah, check it out. Yeah, it might be for you, it might not be, but I like it. Yes, I haven't watched an ad on YouTube in so fucking long. I always laugh when people talk about some of the dodgy ads, cryptocurrencies and all the rest of that crap on there. And Twitch's ads are even worse. They've just got such a limited, but they've kind of done it to themselves. They've got a terrible name as a business with, the gambling streams and the hot tub streams, but we'll see what happens in the future. Very interested to see how Gamer Network pans out, mate. And I'm excited to see what you do with them.
Oh yeah, I was really, really skeptical. So I want to have a good conversation with him. Even if I don't get anything
in any way,
from
shape,
it,
or form, let me know, mate.
I already plan to reach out to you. Actually, since you asked, we're gonna talk. We'll talk in DMs about it.
Ooh, slide into my DMs, big and thick boy. I'm hammering that home, mate. I want that to last. I want people coming into your chat when you're streaming and go, "Hey there, big and thick boy."
I fucking better not see it, not once. Just letting you know, I better not see it once.
Can someone clip this part? And we need to share this
God.
to make it happen. We've created it.
Every time I see it, I will tweet that clip of you fucking missing every shot someone 3 feet from you. I just want you to know that.
Deal. I have no shame. Mate, this time it's final. Thank you so much once again, mate. You're a good bloke, and the community is better for having people like you in it.
Thank you for having me, man.
And I'm a better person for knowing you and counting you as a friend. Never met you, probably never will meet you, but yeah.
You don't know that. Don't say that. You don't know that. I'll never come to Australia, though. We've already been through that. But I will say, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, DudeIRage, sub to him on YouTube. Give him a follow over there on Twitch. Check out his Discord. Links are all in the description, as well as his TikTok. He has one of those as well, at DudeIRage. Do you use it much?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be very active on TikTok, for sure.
It's a great way to grow your channel, folks. DudeIRage, respect, brother.
Buddy, thanks for having me, man.
Proud to have you as part of the thin blue line as well, mate. I know my memes. I love that blue flag, blue line.
That's not a meme, baby. I rep that every day. I rep that on my wrist. I got a bracelet on my wrist right now. Thin blue line. Always do.
Awesome. Keep it up, my man.
Appreciate it, man.
Ciao for now.